esteem and honor to the Most High Yah by way of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. And let's get John chapter 5 and verse 39. And after that, John chapter 6 and verse 44.
Search the scriptures, for in them ye think ye have eternal life, and there they will testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor of men, but I know you that ye have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Father's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him ye will receive. How can ye believe which receive honor one of another, and seek not the honor that cometh from Elohim only?
All right, John 6 and 44. Make it 40. John 6 and 40.
John 6 and 40. It say, and this is the will of him that sent me, that everyone which seeth the Son and believeth on him may have everlasting life, and I will raise him up at the last day.
Come on.
When the Yahudim then murmured at him, because he said, I am the bread which came down from Shamahim, and they said, is not this Yahusha the son of Yosaf, whose father and mother we know?
Yeah.
How is it then, he saith, I am come down of Shamahim?
Yeah.
Yahusha therefore answered and said unto them, murmur not amongst yourselves. No man can come to me except the Father which hath sent me draw him, and I will raise him up at the last day. It is written in the prophets.
What's written in the prophets?
And they shall be taught of Elohim. Every man therefore that hath heard and have learned of the Father cometh unto me.
Read that verse again.
It says, it is written in the prophets, and they shall be all taught of Elohim. Every man therefore that heard and have learned of the Father cometh unto
Does anybody know what prophet he's quoting and where it's at? What he just read. I'm talking about, I really hope that y'all, you got to be locked and pay attention. No, he didn't say all that come to me. Read it again. Y'all got to pay attention closely. Listen to what he's saying.
He says, it is written in the prophets, and they shall be taught of Elohim. Every man therefore that have heard and have learned of the Father.
So what part of that conversation, what part of that statement that he's making is he referring to what's written? Because there's two different things he's saying in the sentence structure. One thing is written, and the other thing he's making a statement.
The part that is written, and they all should be taught about it.
So anybody know where that part's at? Who knows where that's at? Because if he said it's written in the prophets, it would behoove each and every one of you to know where it's written at.
You guys come.
Go ahead and give me Isaiah 54.
Mark, go get your cup. Go get your cup.
Hey, one of y'all take him back there to get that cup. Take him back there to get him cup. Isaiah 54 and 12.
It says, and I will make thy windows of a gates, and the gates of buckles, and thy borders of pleasant stones. And all thy children shall be taught of Yahuwah.
All thy children shall be what?
Taught of Yahuwah. And the great shall be the shalom of thy children.
He's saying great will be the what?
Shalom of thy children.
So if he's saying great gonna be the shalom of the children, what is he telling us then? Because remember, we read last night, if you don't know the law, you going to hell without question. So he said all your children to be taught of Yahuwah, and great will be their shalom. So what does this mean? We just talked about this recently. What is he telling you? If you've been taught of Yahuwah and your shalom is going to be great, what is he telling you? Well, what does shalom mean? So how is that going to be great then? If you say you're going to be taught of him and your shalom will be great, what is he trying to tell you?
You're going to be taught of Yahushua, who's going to allow you to be, who allow you to find peace, because you're going to destroy death. You got to believe in him who has destroyed death.
Yeah, give me Philippians 4 and 5. What he's telling you is that great is your shalom, meaning that great will be your ability to destroy and conquer death once you've been taught of Yahuwah. You can't have this authority without Mashiach. That's why he said all those who've been taught of Elohim will come unto me, because greater be your shalom. Yahushua is your shalom. He is the one who destroyed the authority over chaos. He the one who destroyed death. After Philippians 4 and 5, get me John chapter 16 and verse 5.
Philippians 4 and 5. It says, let your moderation be known unto all men, Yahuwah is at hand. Be careful for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto Elohim. And the shalom of Elohim, which passes all understanding,
the shalom of what?
the shalom of Elohim, which passes all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Yahushua Mashiach.
So how do you sit back and look at that? The shalom of Elohim surpasses all understanding. What is understanding? Because we just talked about this a little bit briefly last night. It said that the law is your schoolmaster to bring you to Mashiach. So if this shalom surpasses all understanding, and he say when you are taught of Yahuwah, you'll have great shalom, which means you'll have great power. So you don't have no power without this man. There's the reason why we looked at John 6, because he said, everyone who was taught of Elohim is going to come to me. Shalom also means, in the technical definition, what does it mean? Rest. He told you, come unto him to get, if you labor, and he will give you rest, which means he'll give you the ability to destroy the things that ail you. That's what we were talking about last night. A lot of people want to be healed, and they looking for man to heal them, and they're not looking for Yah to heal them. They're not allowing the word to heal whatever wounds or things that they have in them. There's nowhere in the world that you're going to be healed without the word. Now, what I mentioned, John 16:3. Come on.
It says, and these things they will do unto you because they have not known the Father nor me.
Yeah.
But these things have I told you, that when the time shall come, ye may remember that I told you of them.
Yeah.
And these things I said not unto you at the beginning, because I was with you. But now I go my way to him that sent me, and none of you asks me, whither goest thou? But because I have said these things unto you, sorrow hath filled your heart.
Go ahead.
Nevertheless, I tell you the truth. It is expedient for you that I go away. For if I go not away, the Comforter will not come unto you. But if I depart, I will send him unto you. And when he is come, he will reprove the world of sin and of righteousness and judgment.
Yeah.
Of sin, because they believe not on me.
Yeah.
Of righteousness, because I go to my Father,
Yeah.
and ye see me no more.
Yeah.
Of judgment, because the prince of this world is judged. And yet many things will I say unto you, but ye cannot bear them now.
Pause. Are the things that he just mentioned and stated, which one of those things in that conversation would be to give you the ability to have understanding that surpass all shalom? No. It would be the Comforter. Let's see why it would be the Comforter in John chapter 15 and verse 24. Just taking a particular route before we continue back in Exodus chapter 21.
It says, if I had not done among them the works which none other man had did.
Well, drop me down to 25. We'll need all
but this cometh to pass, that the word might be fulfilled that is written in their law, they have hated me without a cause.
Yeah.
But when the Comforter is come, whom I will send unto you from the Father, even the Ruach of truth, which proceedeth from the Father, he shall testify of me, and ye also shall bear witness, because ye have been with me from the beginning.
So if the Ruach is going to testify of him, how will the Ruach testify of him? Because that means it's the breath of Elohim or the word of Elohim. How will that word testify of the word? How is he going to do that? First and foremost, how did he give you understanding in the first place? Well, let's go on and get it for him. Huh?
He said prayer is the beginning of understanding.
Yeah, but that ain't how he gave it to you. That's how he gave it to his son. That ain't how he gave it to you. Because it had to been given to somebody else before it could be given to you. You didn't have anything.
Then he chose us.
No, give me Luke 24 and 44. This time back to the first key point, that all your children will be taught of Yahuwah. Everyone that's taught of Yahuwah is going to come unto me, and through that education, you will have a great shalom, or great power, or mighty power, a mighty ability to destroy sin, of which we ourselves could not do on our own.
Luke 24 and 44.
And 44.
It says, and he said unto them, these are the words which I spake unto you while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled which are written in the law of Moses and in the prophets and Psalms concerning me.
Yep.
And then they opened their understanding, that they might understand.
This is how that great understanding comes for you to be able to have the shalom. You cannot destroy the authority attached to chaos without the Son of the living Elohim. It's impossible. You're not going to be able to do it. Understanding came from the fear that he had, because he was heard and that he feared. Therefore, he got the understanding to impart unto others. Somebody else had to get the understanding to impart it unto you, to be able to have the understanding that surpass all shalom, because this understanding that he has surpasses the authority over chaos that existed. Because Satan don't really have that much power. we give our power over to him by leaning to our own desires or leaning over to your temptations. He doesn't have any power. He can't really do anything. You know what I'm saying? He just puts stuff out there. But because people are hurting or lustful or whatever they got on the inside, they tend to lean to what he's offering because they feel like it's going to make them feel better versus leaning to what Yahuwah is offering, which will make you feel better, but there's a chastisement and a discipline and a correction that goes along with it that people refuse because they don't want to be a participant in it. People would rather participate in looking at my way versus Yah's way and then try to make their way Yah's way. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the problem come in at, and that's what people like to do is because if Yah's way is going to cause you to have to lose something. You're going to have to lose something. You're going to get something better in return. You know what I'm talking about? That's going to come straight from him, but you're going to have to lose something. And niggas don't want to lose nothing. So we try to take what's ours or what's of the adversary and try to put some makeup on it and a nice wig and you know what I'm saying? And dress it up like y'all did that. To try to satisfy ourselves in the inward part. But you notice a lot of times when you was in the word and you was feeling a particular way and then you tried to fill that void with something other than Yah, you continually felt more empty than what you did before you tried to fill it. You know what I'm saying? Because nothing of this life, that's why he tell you the flesh profits nothing. Nothing of this life can fill that void but Yah. And we try to fill that void with things that are not of Yah. That's why people seek mates that are not of Yah. That's why people seek drugs and alcohol. You know what I'm talking about? Trying to fill that void. You know what I'm talking about? And he got to fill that void. He got to fill that void. Nobody else can't fill that void but him. I said it last night. We'll read it again. Ain't had you hold nothing else here. Matthew 6 and 33.
It says, but seek ye first the kingdom of Elohim and his righteousness.
Seek what?
Seek ye first the kingdom of Elohim and his righteousness.
And his righteousness.
And all these things shall be added unto you.
Remember, he said he betrothed us unto him in righteousness. See, now get me Romans 16 and 24. What is he crying for? See, that's the biggest problem that ain't nobody doing. Nobody's seeking eternal life and nobody's seeking faith. Because that's what he's telling you to seek. He say seek his kingdom. He said his kingdom is eternal. He told you to seek his righteousness. He's telling you to seek faith. These are the things that will fill these voids that people have. Somebody died, and then this is the part I ain't never understood. I know people do it. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't knocking nobody. When somebody dies, how people try to fill that void of this person dying with all these extra things, that's not going to bring this person back. You know what I'm saying? You already knew that this person was going to die one day. It's amazing how we all know people going to die one day, and then when they die, we jump off the deep end. These people not promised to be with you forever. Then you saying it's not going to hurt? Is there not going to be some pain? Is there not going to be some sorrow? Absolutely it's going to be some pain. Absolutely it's going to be some sorrow. Do you need to start drinking because of it? Do you need to start getting high because of it? Do you need to start participating in dangerous behavior because of it? Because you're just trying to do something to numb your pain. You're not running to the pain to deal with it. You're running away from it. You know what I'm saying? And then therefore, that is not positive. That's not going to allow you to get anywhere. You know what I'm talking about? Now this is how I look at stuff. If somebody is 60 plus, you already know, man, they can leave here anytime. We already know you can leave here anytime. But once you like 60, 70, 80, like ain't no need to be walking around here moping around saying, their time is up. You already know this. Their time is up. According to his word, they done live a pretty full life. You know what I'm saying? You got 60 years out the deal. You got 70 years out the deal. Now, if somebody lived 20 years, 30 years, yeah, that's going to catch you a little off guard, irregardless of what your relationship is to them, whether that's your brother, you know, your husband, your wife, you know what I'm saying, or if your child died, that's going to sting and that's going to hurt. I ain't minimizing that. Like I told you, I seen a girl lost her child by murder. You know what I'm talking about? And I seen her, and she was not there. You know what I'm talking about? She was there, but she was not there. And how you gonna tell this woman how to deal with her pain if you ain't never went through that before? Ain't nothing that you can really tell her. See, that's one thing that some people don't necessarily understand. I can't, if you lose your spouse or you lose your child, and I've never had that experience, there's nothing I can tell you about that direct experience. Everybody's lost somebody who they loved. You know what I'm talking about? But I can't tell you, all you can do is just be there for them. I can't say I can relate to you. I can't relate to you. I have no idea what you feeling. But the same token though, somebody, pretty much everybody at some point in time lost a parent or a grandmother, depending on how old you are. You know what I'm talking about? Some people lucky that their parents and grandparents on both sides are still alive. You know what I'm talking about? Somebody that lost an auntie, somebody that lost a homeboy. For some people, losing their homeboy is just as devastating as a nigga losing their child. You have niggas arguing about which level of death devastation is worse. Because you lost your mom and I lost my homeboy. That just hurt me just the same as it's hurting you. Just because that's not my wife and that's my homeboy, you don't know how close I was to this person. You don't know how much that person meant to me. But then we seek to try to fill that void instead of seeking Yah. I think in the death situation, we don't seek Yah because we blame him for it. You know what I'm saying? But boy, your clock is ticking. The minute the doctor slapped you on your butt, and that first breath,
they ain't touch my kids.
Man, we just talking about a general principle. You slapped them. Somebody slapped them on their behind. You slapped them.
I left they behind. Now.
Shoot, that's what they do. Like I said, that's what they show. They pull them niggas out. Somebody tap them on their bum so they get a breath out. But the point is, when that first breath expelled, the clock is ticking. The clock is ticking. Same way when you drove that car off the lot, it started losing value. Your clock started ticking the minute you came up out that womb. Truth be told, it was ticking the minute the embryo started forming in the womb. But that clock is ticking. And any day you can leave here. And I think we live our life thinking that you're not going to die. Especially when you're young. Most young people don't think they never going to die. Do you know what I'm saying? But the clock is ticking. You're going to die one day. And we have to stop looking to fill these holes we got inside ourselves with everything but Yahuwah. He the only one that can heal it. Let that word come in and do what it do. It's the greatest cleansing agent and healing agent in the history of mankind. Where I got you at?
Romans 16
and 23. Come on.
It say, Gaius, mine host, and of the whole assembly saluted you. Aretas, the chamberlain of the city, saluted you. And Quartus, a brother. Grace be to Yahushua, our master Yahushua HaMashiach, be with you all. Amen. Now to him that is of the power to establish you, according to my Besorah, and the preaching of Yahushua HaMashiach.
Pause. Now remember, we dealt with the gospel of Shalom. He said this has the power to establish you, where you have that great Shalom, that great power, because you've been taught of Elohim. And we dealt with in the first 11 verses of Exodus chapter 21. You've seen the great power and mercy of Elohim through Yahushua HaMashiach in those passages. Continue on, sir.
It says, according to the revelation of the mystery which was kept secret since the world began.
Go ahead.
But is now made manifest by the scriptures of the prophets, according to the commandment of the everlasting Elohim.
Yeah.
Made known unto all nations for the obedience of faith.
The righteous obedience of faith. We definitely skip the word now.
For the obedience of faith.
Mine says different.
To Elohim, only wise be esteemed through Yahushua HaMashiach forever. Amen.
Right there, you see what this is? That's where you get the understanding and the power at. Yes, Gail. Yes, Gail. That's your head, Gail. Come on to Exodus 21. I think we're in verse 12. I appreciate it if you slide my page back. Okay, you could. This is what you do. You could have marked that.
You always gonna say righteous.
Well, nevertheless.
You be adding too.
Ain't nobody add. How about you add my book back to where it was at, sir? I apologize for that. You can apologize for placing that book back.
You didn't apologize.
I just did.
Oh. Don't mind if I do.
Yeah, you should mind. Place that back, sir. I appreciate that.
Exodus 22.
Right where we at, sir. Interesting.
There you go, good sir.
Let's go. 21 and 12. It's definitely not 21 and 12. I will let that slide.
Thank you.
Now we finna deal with murder and strife. Murder and strife. Exodus 21 and 12.
It says, he that smiteth a man so that he die shall be surely put to death.
Paul, listen what he tell you. He that do what?
Smiteth a man.
Anybody know what it is to smite?
Strike.
It's to strike. It's to slay. It's to kill. It's to wound. It's to receive a blow. Anybody who smite a man will surely be put to death. Now let's look at another avenue in the law for that statement. Genesis 9 and 6.
It says, whoso sheddeth the man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed, for in the image of Elohim made he man.
It's never a good thing to murder. He said, "For you smite a man that he die, you're gonna be put to death." Come back to verse 13.
It says, and if a man lie and wait, but Elohim deliver him into his hand.
He said, "Lie not and wait."
If a man lie not and wait, but Elohim deliver him into his hand, then I will appoint thee a place whether he shall flee.
Pause. What do you think this means, and what other avenue in the law is he referring to? He said, "If a man, you know what it is to lie and wait, correct?
Look out and stake out.
The lie and wait is to conceal yourself, to lie in the cut, like when they talk about hiding in the bushes.
Yeah, man.
So I'm gonna hide in the bushes and catch that nigga when he come home. What part of the law is he talking about?
City of refuge.
The city of refuge is what he's referring to. He said, if Elohim deliver this man into your hand, then you can't be killed. So, let's look at the first thing about if you smite a man, you should surely die. Let's go to John chapter 18 and verse 19. Now, he didn't die here, but we just looking at something for a reason.
It says, the high priest asked Yahushua of the disciples and of his doctrine. Yahushua answered him, I spake openly to the world. I never taught in the synagogue and in the temple where the Yahudim always resort. And in secret have I said nothing. Why askest thou me? Ask them which heard me, that what I have said unto them, behold, they know what I said. And when he had thus spoken, one of the officers which stood by struck Yahushua with the palm of his hand, saying, answerest thou the high priest? So
now you're going to look at a reason why the master makes the statement that he's about to make. Because you ain't had no business putting your hands on anybody without cause. If you had cause, you could go up somebody's head. Go ahead.
it says, Yahushua answered him, if I have spoken evil, bear witness to thy evil. But if well, why thou smitest me?
You see what he said? If I'm evil, then bear witness. Now clearly he didn't smite him that he died, did he not? He didn't die off that smite, so they didn't have to do nothing to him. But he was letting them be known. If they would have known the law, then they know they wouldn't have had no business putting their hands on him in the first place. You know what I'm talking about? Because if he ain't did no evil, you ain't got no business placing your hands on him. You can smack fire from somebody in our law if they did wrong. Walk right up to him, slap him in the face. But if you ain't got no reason for it, according to our law, he's supposed to be able to come back and slap you right back. And also maybe like 4 or 5 times extra on top of that. Who remembers how many times you can beat a man and then you can't hit him no more?
I remember that day. That was really good.
40. You strap a nigga 40 times. After that, can't hit him no more. Now let's sit back and look. Did they smite this man till he died? Did they strike him and hit him with blows till he died? The 27th chapter of Matthew and verse 30.
It says, and they spit upon him and took the reed and smote him on the head. And after that they had mocked him. They took the robe off him and put his own raiment on and led him away to crucify him. And as they came out, they found the man of Cyrene, Simon by name. Him they compelled to bear his stake.
Yep.
And when they were coming to the place called Golgotha, which is to say, the place of the skull, they gave him vinegar to drink mingled with gall. And when he had tasted thereof, he would not drink. And they crucified him and parted his garments.
They did what to him?
Crucified him.
So right there they smote him or they wounded him, correct? Now, he said if they had not lied in wait and Elohim delivered them in their hand, he would give them refuge. He would give them a place to flee. Let's ask a question. Did the scribes and Pharisees and Judas, did they lie in wait? But did Elohim deliver them in his hand though? Yes, he did. Do you know what I'm saying? So there was a place of refuge for them as well. But they did something to cancel out that refuge for themselves. And what was it that they did?
They put it on their children.
They let that blood be on them, so they canceled out their room for repentance. Let's sit back and look and see if they lied and wait. Matthew the 26th chapter in the first verse. Let's see if they lied and wait. Matter of fact, make it John 11 and 45. Let's see if they lied and wait. And then we look at Matthew 26.
It says, so when many of the Yahudim which came to Mary and had seen the things which Yahushua did, believed on him. But some of them went their ways into the Pharisees and told them the things that Yahushua had done. Then gathered the chief priests and Pharisees a council and said, what do we? For this man does many miracles. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans will come and take away both our place and nation. And one of them named Caiaphas, being the high priest the same year, said unto them, Ye know nothing at all, nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, that the whole nation perish not.
Yeah.
And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Uzzah should die for that nation.
Yeah.
And not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together and one of the children of Elohim that were scattered abroad.
Yep.
And from that day forth, they took counsel together to put him to death.
Can anybody think of anybody who took counsel to slay anybody and laid in wait in the text to do so? I'm talking about actually killed him. Not a similitude of death, but actually laid in wait and killed the man. Cain definitely laid in wait and killed Abel. Can anybody think anybody else who laid in wait to kill a man? Moses didn't lie in wait. Moses went straight up and murdered him.
Yeah, your boy.
I'm talking about
judges.
There's two different people though. It's two different people. I
I
know who he talking about, and it's two of them, and they're in the same book, and it's not in Judges. You thinking about Amalek? He talking about Amalek. He talking about Abner and Amasa. Yeah, you talking about Amalek. You talking about Abner and Amasa. Well, let's look at that. 2 Samuel chapter 3.
No, I was talking about your boy who went and do it in the parlor. That's not
Yeah, he wasn't laying in wait for that dude. That's the dude that stabbed the king of Moab in his side with a dagger. And the fat enveloped the knife.
Yeah, that ain't laying away.
No, he ain't laying wait. He walked right up and stabbed him.
But he hit. Yeah, I feel you.
Like he ain't plotted nothing. Hit this nigga up, nigga. Hit him with that Dave Chappelle when he walked past.
He did. Cranked him up.
Chapter 3, verse 20. Or he hit him with that white boy. I think I was chilling today, cuz, but today I got time. That cracker that was.
Gonna take a jet home and run my face.
That cracker say you can drop your kid off right now. You can run my face.
Yeah, you got to.
That cracker say shoot. That cracker say I was chilling. You know what I'm saying? I told you I was cool. I ain't had time for that. But today I got time, cuz.
I said, jet home and run me in my face.
That's cracker shut out. Then he walking around here like this here.
Right in front of my jet.
That cracker walking like this here. What you mean, cuz? Talking about you run up on me to see how gangsta I was, cuz.
Shoot. You win some, you lose some. But you win. You live to fight another day.
That cracker walked up on him and said, today I got time, cuz.
Either way, it was a lesson learned.
The cracker wasn't nothing but $105.
What? I ain't know the size of the nigga you about.
It wouldn't even matter. He still supposed to go ahead and shot that cracker one you.
That nigga about your side.
That nigga standing there holding his little boy hand, that cracker selling out to you.
I'm talking nigga you talking to.
He was big.
He looked like he had a little bit of size looking at it for him. You know what I'm talking about? I wouldn't know. They ain't put the camera on it. They ain't had to put the camera on it. That was hilarious. And the worst part was that cracker was dead serious. He might have did. He probably
would have to
was.
fight regardless.
The little white boy said you can run.
I'm talking about
Yeah. He probably thought he was.
The little white boy had his whole little posse.
Yeah, talking about. I can say what you heard with pistol game, cuz. Sit your clown behind down somewhere. You can't run a pistol game with a nigga who know where you from, talking like he from California, pulling his pants down as he talking to a nigga, walking like he on a penitentiary yard. But it was funny though. That cracker say, today I got time, cuz. That jump funny to me, man. Go ahead, man. 2 Samuel 3 and 20, man. Well, what you got? You got some. This nigga pulling out the dope bag. 2 Samuel 3 and 20.
It says, so Abner came to David in Hebron, and 20 men with him, and David made Abner and the men that were with him a feast. And Abner said to David, I will arise and go. And
Abner made a what? What did he do?
A feast. Well, Abner said, excuse me. And Abner said,
he made a feast for who and who else?
That Abner, hold on. And David to Hebron, 20 men with him, and David made Abner and the men that were with him a feast.
Mm-hmm.
And Abner said unto David, I will arise and go, and I will gather all Yasharal unto my master the king.
He'll do what?
Gather all of Yasharal to my master the king.
This is interesting.
That they may take a league.
Pause. Take a who?
A league.
Y'all know what a league is, right?
A large amount of people.
No. He said take a league.
Like a vow or a council or something?
Not a vow or a council. You ever heard of the League of Nations? Who in here done heard of the League of Nations?
Justice League.
If you got League of Nations or even Justice League, what do all these people have in common? What have they done?
They've come into confederacy.
They come into an agreement.
They've come into an agreement. They've entered into a covenant with each other. So read that from the top where you started at again.
It says,
We got 4.
and Abner said to David, I will arise and go and will gather all the Yasharal together unto my master the king.
No, I'm talking about from 20.
Okay. So Abner came to David to Hebron, and 20 men with him, and David made Abner and the men that were with him.
Pause. So who is David representative of making this feast? It said David made a feast for Abner and the men who were with him. So who made this feast so who is David in this instance? This is the reason why he say if you've been taught of Elohim, you'll come unto Mashiach. Say it's written in the prophets. He said if you smite a man that he died, then you got to die. So who is David in this instance? Who is he representative of?
Not the very season.
It said David made the feast for Abner. So who is David representative of?
I'm thinking when the master told the disciples to make bread for Passover.
Give me Leviticus 23 and 1.
I was going to say he is all.
He would be the father in this instance. Yahushua didn't make the feast. The father made the feast. He made the feast for the son. Yep. Matter of fact, give me Colossians 1 and 18 first. Maybe 1 and 16. Before we read Leviticus 23 and 1.
It says, and he is the head of the body of the assembly.
He's the what?
The head of the body of the assembly.
What up?
Who is the beginning?
The what?
The beginning.
And what up?
The firstborn from the dead, that in all things he might have preeminence.
Yep.
For it pleased the Father that in him should all fullness dwell.
Go ahead.
And having made shalom through the blood of the stake, by him to reconcile all things unto himself.
Pause.
By him.
I think we missed a verse where he said that all things were made by him and for him. Not all the things in the earth were made for him, but who taught the Son? John 12 and 49 say, my Father has given me a commandment, what I should say and what I should speak. Who ordained the feast of Passover, the Father or the Son? So let's look at Leviticus 23 and 1, and we see David is representative of it, because what you're supposed to catch, he made a feast for those and the men with him. And then from that, this would cause the people to be what? Gathered unto their master. And that they all made a covenant with him. And this is still tying back to that one law. If you smite a man that he died, you will surely be put to death. You got to die.
It's saying, Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, speaking to the children of Yasharal, and saying to them, concerning the feast of Yahuwah, which ye shall proclaim to be Kadash convocations, even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, and the 7th day is the Shabbat of rest of Kadash convocation, and ye shall do no manner of work therein. It is the Shabbat of Yahuwah in all your dwellings. These are the feasts of Yahuwah, even the Kadash convocations which ye shall proclaim in their seasons.
Yep.
They say in the 14th day of the first month at even is Yahuwah's Passover.
Is whose Passover?
Yahuwah's Passover.
So he the one who made the feast. Now we're going to get a little bit early with it. Give me Leviticus 24 and 15. I'm going to ask y'all a question. Do y'all believe it, killing Yahusha, is it blasphemy or is it not blasphemy? The killing of Yahusha, is it blasphemy or is it not blasphemy? You say it's not? Who says that that's not blasphemous? Who feels like it is blasphemous? Why would it be blasphemous?
Pretty much when they get him over, they kill him to the Jeep. I'm trying to think of the script. They shed innocent blood. They shed innocent blood, but something else.
Well, let's see. Leviticus 24 and 15.
I would think you were saying blasphemy in the word.
Just blasphemous, period. 24 and 15. Leviticus 24 and 15.
It says, and thou shalt speak unto the children of Yasharal, saying, whosoever curses his Elohim shall bear his sin.
If whoever do what?
Curses Elohim shall bear his sin.
Whoever do what?
Curses Elohim shall bear his sin.
How would you curse Elohim? Let's look and see. What is that? Is that Mark chapter 3, verse 20? Let's look and see. Then we're going to look at what the word blaspheme means. And you had just said it. Because we also will sit back and look at the fact of how transgressing you would be still guilty of smiting this man. And by blaspheming, you would be guilty of smiting this man. And therefore, you would have to die for it. You ready, sir?
Let's stick with Turah.
They sticking on you. Oh, man. You better keep them churning away from them books, boy.
It said, the multitude coming together again, so that they could not so much eat as eat bread.
Yeah.
And when his friend heard of it, they went out to lay hold on him, for they said, he is beside himself.
My bad. Get me down to 22.
It says, and from the scribes which came down from Jerusalem said, he hath Beelzebub, and by the prince of the devils casteth he out devils.
Yep.
And he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan?
Yep.
And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand.
Yep.
And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand.
It can't stand.
And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but have an end. No man can enter into a strong man's house except no man can enter a strong man's house and spoil his goods except he will first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil the house. Verily I say unto you, all sin shall be forgiven unto the Son of Man, and blasphemies wherewith soever they shall blaspheme. But he that shall blaspheme against the Ruach HaKodesh have never forgiveness, but is in danger of eternal
That would be
damnation.
cursing Elohim at that point. When you blaspheme his Ruach, you would be cursing him. You know what I'm saying? And you got to bear that sin, and you got to, ain't that what he just told you? You have to wear that. Ain't gonna be no forgive me for that. You gonna wear that. And a lot of people do that on a regular basis. That's why we read that in that Jude. All them hard speeches that all these hard sinners, ungodly sinners have committed, they have to answer for that. This is why the master says that every idle word that come out of your mouth, you're going to have to give an answer for. It's a lot of people run their mouth against you, and they got to answer for that. You know what I'm saying? They got, and I ain't talking about people who outside of the house, people who claim to be inside of the house, and the things that they say against him. They're going to have to answer for that. And all you got to do is sit back and look at your people in the wilderness and look at what they did. They blasphemed that man Ruach continually with the miracles and wonders that he worked in their eyesight. And they answered for that. Come on back to Leviticus, man. 24 and 16.
It says, and he that blaspheme the name of Yahuwah, he shall surely be put to death.
He said, he that do what?
Blaspheme the name of Yahuwah shall be put to death.
Go ahead.
And all the congregation shall certainly stone him.
And they'll certainly what?
Stone him. As well the stranger as he that is born in the land.
Yep.
When he blasphemes the name of Yahuwah shall be put to death.
What y'all think that word blaspheme could mean? The word for blaspheme is nakav. What do y'all think it could mean? Well, let's look at what it could mean. One of the things that it means is to curse or to blaspheme. But another thing it means is to strike through. And another thing it means is to pierce. And another thing that it means is to bore. Or to place a hole in. So if we sit back and think about blaspheming the name of Yahuwah, to pierce the name of Yahuwah, isn't that what it would say? Well, let's look at John 5 and 43. And let's sit back and look at something then. John 5 and 43. It's a lot of people gonna go to hell every day, and this is why we gonna get to something that committing sin. You are literally piercing this man because you blaspheming his name. Therefore, you have literally pierced this man.
So
and
we're working out of Leviticus?
Leviticus goes along to what we talking about in Exodus. We're in Exodus 21 and 12, but I can't just avoid Leviticus 24 and go along with it. We ain't got past 21 and 12, which is smite the man that if he die, you got to be put to death. Go ahead.
John
5 and 43.
It says, I am come in my Father's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive.
What did the master say? You won't see me again until you say what? So he coming in the name of Yahuwah. So when you reject the Son, you have rejected the Father or blasphemed the Father. Therefore, when we commit sin, we are blaspheming the name of Elohim. Therefore, that is piercing Mashiach. Romans 2:22. Romans 2:22. And then we come back to 2 Samuel chapter 3.
It says, thou that saith a man should not commit adultery, does thou commit adultery? Thou that abhors idols, does thou commit sacrilege? Thou that makest thy boast in the law, through breaking the law, dishonest thou Elohim? For the name of Elohim is blasphemed among the Gentiles through you, as it is written.
So our behavior is akin to piercing this man. We don't never consider that sin is the same as you were standing out there killing him. That you were saying, because remember it said they crucified him, right? So they blasphemed the name of Yahuwah when they did that, because he came in the name of Yahuwah, and they pierced him. They bore through him. They wounded him. They struck him. And then they smote him without a cause, like we see in Exodus 21:12. Therefore, these people had to be put to death. Come on back to 2 Samuel chapter 3. I know in verse 16 of that same Leviticus, it said the same thing that Exodus 21:12 say, that if you kill a man, you shall surely be put to death. That's why he tell you that if you take that cup unworthily and you eat that bread unworthily, you have not discerned the body of Mashiach, and you bring damnation on yourself. You bring the curse on yourself according to what the law say, because you're blaspheming his name. Therefore, you have pierced him. Go ahead, sir. 2 Samuel 3:20 all over again.
It says, so Abner came to David to Hebron, and 20 men with him, and David made Abner and the men that were with him a feast.
So we know it's Yahuwah making a feast for his son, so to speak. Go ahead.
And Abner said to David, I will arise and go, and will gather all
He
the
will do what?
I will gather and go.
No, he said he do what?
He said, I will arise.
He will arise and go. And what did the people? What did Capheus prophesy to those chief priests in John 11 that we read that this man had to do? He had to come and gather that nation together as one. This is what Abner's saying. He's going to get up and do what? When did Yahushua get up to be able to gather the nation in? He got up when he rose from the dead. Let's see another place in the prophets where it bear witness to this. Isaiah 62:1.
It says, for Zion's sake will I not hold my shalom, and for Jerusalem's sake I will not rest until the righteous thereof go forth as brightness, and the salvation thereof as a lamp that burneth. And the Gentiles shall see thy righteousness, and all the kings thy esteem, and thou shalt be called by a new name, which the mouth of Yahuwah shall name. Thou.
I might have been a little too far. It still worked though. This one where he said literally arise. It escapes my brain at this present time. I can't recall where it is. It might be 51. Ah yes, it's 52. Isaiah 52. That's what it was. Isaiah 52.
It said, awake, awake, and put on thy strength, O Zion. Put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the Kadosh city. For henceforth there shall no more come into the uncircumcised.
So he told her to do what? To awake and arise. Now why is this important? Let's look at Ephesians 5 and about verse 9. Ephesians 5 and 9.
It says, for the fruit of the Ruach is in all goodness and righteousness and truth, proving what is acceptable unto the master, and having no fellowship with unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. For it is a shame even to speak on those things which are done of them in secret. But all things that are reproved are made manifest by the light, and whatsoever doth make manifest is light.
Yeah.
Therefore he said, awake thou that art asleep,
Do
and
what?
arise from the dead.
Do what?
Awake thou that art asleep, or that sleepest, and arise from the dead.
See, now he told us, what did Abner go do? He arose to do what? Gather all the people back to his master. Yahushua had to arise from the dead to gather all us back under his master, which is Elohim, which is the Father. We just sit back and look at it. Now, we're supposed to follow that same framework of behavior. Why? Because if you sleep, according to the text, what are you? You dead. And if you still dead in your trespasses and sins, then you need, what did Paul made a statement in Corinthians. He said, awake unto righteousness and sin not. Some of you have not the knowledge of Elohim. I speak this to your shame. So when you walking in sin, you're not, because that's what niggas' favorite line is, right? I'm woke. Stay woke. I'm conscious. All this stuff that niggas say in these days and times, correct? But niggas walking in sin, so you not awake. So you not conscious. Not in Elohim eyesight, you are dead. You are sleeping. You know what I'm saying? Now most people who say they woke or they conscious are not of the mind frame of serving the living Elohim. Most of them walk in another school of thought when they speak to this, but it has become a common thing. That's what niggas say. You know, what do all Hebrews say? We got to do what? We got to wake up the lost sheep. Where in the book anywhere did he tell anybody to wake up anywhere? He said go find the lost sheep. Go search them out. He didn't say go wake them up. Wake them up from what? Sin and death. That's what you supposed. Niggas think they woke. Them niggas say I'm a conscious Israelite. So you consciously know you going to hell. That is outstanding. Because that's at the point, that's where you at when you say I'm a conscious Israelite. I'm conscious that I am disobedient and unbelieving and that I'm worthy of death. This is what you're conscious of. So now what are you going to do after that? Because he told you to wake thou that sleepeth, and who would give you light? Mashiach will give you light. What is the light? It's everlasting life. That means you have to awake from sin and death and repent. Read it again, sir. In Ephesians 5, probably about verse 14.
It said, wherefore he said, awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Mashiach shall give thee light.
Yep.
See then ye walk circumspectly, not as fools,
But as wise.
redeeming the time.
That's good. Wise. Not walking like a fool, but wise. So it's a lot of niggas saying they woke, but you not woke because you living like a fool. You stupid. You know what I'm talking about? You can't tell me you wise and you sinning. How is that wise? You can't tell me you wise and you don't believe. How is that wise? You not wise. You the opposite of wise, which means you a fool. You know what I'm talking about? And Elohim don't have no fellowship with fools. It is what it is. And we lie. Is the book lying though? He ain't lying. It's a lot of niggas. How many brews you done seen say I'm woke? See, y'all niggas ain't woke. Fake conscious king. You know what I'm talking about? Fake conscious king. Why your stuff look like that?
Fake conscious king.
Talking about you want to go bear.
Rudy Gobert.
Back to 2 Samuel chapter 3, man. Read verse 20 again. Because we looking at, does anybody know off the top of their head who killed Abner? It was Joab that killed him. Does anybody know why Joab killed him? No, he ain't killing for that.
He been looking out for David.
No, he ain't killing for that. Abner killed him because he killed Abner because Abner killed his brother in battle. That's what he killed him for. That's how he laid in wait, because he was waiting for an opportunity to kill this man. He had already been plotting.
I respect that.
You know what I'm saying? See, that's what laying in wait is. You plotting. I'm gonna get that nigga. You know what I'm saying? And you wait for an opportunity where you think he in a weak place, and you catch him.
So he was wrong for killing him?
Absolutely. David went off on him about it.
But that's why I felt like bro plotted too, because he caught bro, he was alone. He played it with the gift.
But he had already had the mission to go kill him. So he ain't even laying wait. You know what I'm talking about? Cuz just went straight up and down. These niggas finna come in here. He ran a little game on
Yeah,
him.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
But
he had a gift.
But he didn't plot. I was sent to go kill you. So I'm gonna deceive y'all to come kill you. This nigga was plotting for the longest on how to kill this nigga after his brother died.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, I'm gonna kill this nigga. I don't know how I'm gonna kill. And it was a time of peace, so the beef had supposed to have been squashed. He was supposed to have been dead. Abner had done got down with the king. This is why David came later and was like, I wash my hands of this. I ain't got nothing to do with this. I don't want none of that stuff falling on my kingdom and on my throne, because I ain't had nothing to do with it. Let that be known. Joab did this all on his own.
But at the same time, why he ain't off his mans though? I feel like that was righteous thing to do.
No, he wanted Abner. He blamed Abner for it. Abner, you did it. I want you. I don't care about the other ones.
David.
He ain't even killed the niggas. He just said, I don't have nothing to do with this.
I'm saying, but once he found out Joab did that,
He said, let that blood be on his household.
What's one of them people?
He ain't had nothing. David didn't do nothing to Joab. He just let it be known, I ain't got nothing to do with this.
no, I was just thinking about, like the law say, if you slide a nigga,
I mean, he said,
slid.
but nah, the reason being is he let y'all get him. If you remember what he told Solomon. He told Solomon, you know what? Get that nigga after my death. Don't let his whole head go to the grave in peace. You go see that nigga. Because he slayed 2 innocent men. Because he slayed a monster too. See, that's what David did. Solomon, you handle that. And that take you back to what? All judgment was given into the hand of the son. You know what I'm talking about? The father ain't had nothing to do with that. He gave Solomon explicit instruction what to do to that nigga. I ain't gonna kill it.
Did David tell Solomon not to kill someone and Solomon went back and killed
No, he told him kill all them niggas. He just told one nigga, he told him, you know what to do. You wise. You know how to play it. But make sure you kill. He told him to kill every last one of them niggas. Every last one of them. Matter of fact, I guess we can read it in a moment when he told him to kill all of them. Don't spare none of them whole niggas. I don't like none of them. I ain't never liked them.
Joab was a boy though.
That was a boy, but at the same token, nigga, you pulled 2 flawed moves of which I do not respect and which I will not co-sign. So your whole head got to go to the grave. Cause you around here could have got people to revolt against me. Cause you around here want to be a vigilante.
And a murderer.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I seen a pair of Jordan Batman shoes.
I know you like them.
I did. I like Batman since a small child. Since '84 to be exact. 2 Samuel 3:20. Nigga, I had the Justice League, nigga, and the base. Not no belt.
I know you had the belt and the hat.
I ain't had no hat. I'm talking about the.
You had the sheets?
No. I'm talking about the action
What are you
figures.
saying if you didn't have the shit?
Yeah, he had the sheets of the color same.
I need all
Probably
that.
had the draws.
I don't think they had it back then.
No, he ain't had the doll either.
I ain't need all that. I just needed the action
He
figures.
might get that.
No, not everything, nigga. Bases and everything elaborately set up. Right there in the apartments on Townsend. That's where I had it. That's where I had my Knight Rider big wheel. That's where I got ran over by bicycles. Fell off my bicycle. Them niggas kept on going. Ran me right over too.
No.
So did.
That ain't funny, bro.
Yeah, it is.
Could have hurt you.
I was injured. Not greatly, but injured nonetheless. That's like 85, 86. Come on, man. 2 Samuel 3:20.
And so Abner came to David at Hebron, and 20 men with him, and David made Abner and the men that were with him a feast. And Abner said unto David, I will arise and go and will gather all Yasharal unto my master the king.
Yep.
They that make a league with thee, and thou mayest reign over all thine heart desires.
Pause. You see how he said everybody who make a league or enters into a covenant with him, then David will reign over them according to his heart's desire. Go ahead.
It said, and David sent Abner away, and he went shalom.
He went in peace.
And behold, the servants of David came to Joab.
What they say?
Of David, and Joab came from pursuing a troop, and he brought a great spoil with him. But Abner was not with David in Hebron, for he had sent him away, and he was gone in shalom.
Go ahead.
When Joab and all the host that was with him were come, they told Joab, saying, Abner the son of Ner came to the king, and he had sent him away, and he is gone in peace. And when Joab came to the king and said, what hast thou done? Behold, Abner came to thee. Why is it that thou hast sent him away, and he is quite gone?
See, Joab was mad because he felt like David was supposed to kill him. Go ahead.
So David knew.
David had to squash what they had going on.
Thou knowest Abner the son of Ner, that he came to deceive thee, and to know.
Pause. For backstory, man, Abner was down with Saul. So Joab thinking that Abner coming out and it means to kill David when him and David had done squashed what they had going on. Abner had came to project his loyalty to the king. Say, look here, man, I was down with Saul because Saul was king. He sat and perceived, says Yah has removed him from being king and made you king, then I'm down with you then because you the king. This is why David made him a feast. You know what I'm saying? And then Abner said, my duty was to go back and find anyone who opposes you and to gather them together so they can serve you. Which is what Yahushua came to do. I'm coming to gather together anyone who opposes you so they can come and serve you and get them to enter into a covenant with you. And see, but guess what is? Joab going to have to play the role of the scribes and the Pharisees and smite a man. And Joab does die for it, just not right then and there on the spot. Go ahead.
They say, we at verse 26.
Yeah, we finna get ready to him when he finna get murdered.
And when Joab was come out from David, he sent messengers after Abner, which brought him again from the well of Turah. But David knew it not. And when Abner was returned to Hebron, Joab took him beside the gate to speak with him quietly, and smote him there under the 5th rib, that he died for the blood of Azael his brother.
This is what he killed him for. He killed him because of his brother. Go ahead.
And afterwards, when David heard it, he said, I and my kingdom are guiltless before Yahuwah
Now who else said this?
forever from the blood of Abner and his son.
Somebody else said it. Who else said it? Who else said the same thing David just said?
No, Caesar, right? Pilate.
That was Pilate. That was Pilate. Say, I don't know nothing about this. I don't got nothing to do with it. Because he got to absolve himself. He had to let it be known, because if David is complicit in this, the law say, well, David got to die too. Then why David coming up, hold up. I don't got nothing to do with this. And this is an example of showing you that if there's a multitude of niggas doing wickedness, you need to step yourself out of the play and say, I ain't got nothing to do with this. That's them niggas, and separate yourself from it. Because David did it immediately. I ain't got nothing to do with this. Nigga, I'm not going down with you niggas on this here. No, sir, not me. That's you niggas. You know what I'm saying? Niggas don't do that because you sitting back looking, you won't hurt nobody's feelings. This nigga sitting back screwed Joab feelings. These niggas is not finna besiege my throne and come kill me by some stuff this wicked nigga did. Go ahead.
It says, let it rest on the head of Joab. And
let it rest on who?
On the head of Joab.
And who else?
And on all his father's house.
And his whole household.
And let there not fail from the house of Joab one that have an issue, or that is a leper, or that leaneth on a staff, or that falleth on the sword, or that lacketh bread.
Hold on. Listen to all the stuff that David asked y'all to do to this nigga.
He said, let it rest on the head of Joab and all his father's house. And let there not fail from the house of Joab one that have an issue.
Y'all know what it is to have an issue? That's to have a running wound. Some level of wound with pus or blood coming out of it continually. Let these niggas have open wounds with pus coming out of it. And what else?
A leper.
Make him be a leper.
And lean on the staff.
Let that nigga be old where he can't walk.
And let him falleth on the sword.
Let all the people get murked.
Or lack bread.
And let him don't have no bread. Let that nigga starve. You know what else curse that sound like? What other curse that sound like? Somebody else got cursed like this too. Psalms 109. Let him go ahead and hear that. Psalms 109. And all this stuff is, regardless if you catch it, all this stuff tied back to Exodus 21 and 12 and Leviticus 24, 15 and 16. Smiting a man and blaspheming the name of Yahuwah. This is what happened to you. You got to die. This is what happened to you. And what does it take you spiritually? Because to blaspheme the name of Yahuwah is to bore or to wound. So to commit sin, as we read in Romans chapter 2, is blaspheme the name of Yahuwah. Therefore you have wounded Elohim. You have wounded Yahusha. Therefore you have smited a man that he died, and therefore you ought to die for it. Which is why he say the wages of sin is death. Now that's heavy right there for you. Now, we looked at the redemption process in the first 11 verses in Exodus 21, correct? Now you done turn around and see what happened when you sin. First part is he did is what he showed you how he loved you and how he would redeem you. The second part, he let you know, play with me if you want to. I got something for you. Go ahead.
Something in there.
109. Give me verse 4.
It says, "For my love, they are my adversaries."
For my what?
My love, they are my adversaries.
Hamashiach say, greater love had no man than this, that a man lay his life down for his friends. He said, I proceed forth and come from Elohim, and you hate me. He said, if he was your father, you would love me because I proceed forth and come out from him. But for my love, you became my enemies. That's what it was saying in John 11. This man do miracles and wonders. We got to kill him. Like that nigga not spitting the sun, and they say, why they love hurting me? You know what I'm saying? You say you love Elohim, but your love is hurting him. How? Go ahead.
But I give myself unto prayer.
That's what he did in John 17, then go ahead.
And they have rewarded me evil for good.
Yeah, they did.
And hatred for my love.
Sure did. Because he said they hated him without a cause. Come on.
Set thou a wicked man over him.
Set a who?
A wicked man over him.
Set a who?
A wicked man over him.
And do what else?
Let Satan stand at his right hand.
Let Satan stand at his right hand. What else?
And when he shall be judged, let him be condemned.
Let him be what?
Let him be condemned.
Ain't that's what David was praying for Joab? Matter of fact, he wasn't praying for it. He was making that proclamation before the people. When he judged, let him be damned. Go ahead.
It said, let his days be few.
Let his days be few.
And let another take his office.
And let somebody else take his place. Y'all know who they're talking about though, right?
Let his children be fatherless.
Let his children be what?
And his wife a widow.
Oh, little baby.
Let his children be continually vagabonds.
Let him be what?
Vagabonds.
They homeless niggas.
In bed.
And bed.
Let them seek bread also out of their desolate places.
The same thing he just said, but y'all know who this psalm is written about, right? The key point is what he said, let another man take his office. That's Judas. That's Judas. It tell you that in Acts chapter 1, when they picked another disciple to take his place. Say, let somebody else take his office, let somebody else take his job. Well, you know that's rough right there when you had a job, but you was always destined to be fired from it. And you notice the same pronouncement of curses that David placed upon Joab is the same curses you hear on Judas. Read some more, because I don't know if we read the part where he said, let his prayer be sin.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah, let his prayer be a sin. That's how serious it is to betray the living Elohim. Say, let his prayer be a sin. Go ahead.
It said, let the extortioner catch all that he have.
Y'all know, because I told y'all this. Who knows what extortion is again? Because I told you, I've talked to some young woman, she didn't know what extortion was. You know what extortion is, Callie? By force. Like, that's what the mob do. The mob would extort people and say, you got to give me $1,000 a week for protection. Or I'm going to burn your business down. Or I'm going to shoot you and I'm going to kill you. That is extortion. You know what I'm saying? So he say, let the extortioner catch this nigga and get him all the time. Go ahead.
It said, let the stranger spoil his labor. Let there be none to extend mercy unto him.
Don't let nobody have no. You have people say, how could a man of God pray for such a thing? He said, don't even let nobody have mercy on him. Don't let nobody have mercy on him. And get what? This David praying for that. Go ahead. Go sit down.
It said, let there be none to extend mercy unto him, neither let there be any favor in his fatherless children.
So don't even let no mercy be for him.
Let his posterity be cut off.
Let all his kids be killed.
And in the generation following, let their name be blotted out.
That's the same thing David asked to happen to Joab too. This is how y'all feel about his enemies. Let that be known. And people don't like to hear it, but that's the reality of it though. Now go back to 2 Samuel chapter 3. This is what happened when you kill a man. Because what did Judas do? And this is what happened when you sin. Because when you sin, you killing a man. The man. The son of the living Elohim. If people actually showed people this and gave people this understanding, maybe they would consider. And then if we know it and we don't consider, then that means we have a very dangerous mind. You know what I'm saying? Because the mind is the most dangerous thing on the planet. As forth as it comes to the word of Elohim, because it can lead you to salvation, it can lead you to damnation. And that choice rests solely in your own lap. Yeah, he said it. That's what he said about Judas. It was better for him to not even be born. You know what I'm saying? But he also telling you it was better for you not to have even known than to know and to go backwards. Because he said, like it's written in the true proverb, a dog has returned to his vomit. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nowhere in the world. I used to have a conversation with Lil Muffin and Nell all the time. Go back to what? You know what I'm saying? Go back out there and to what? Back to the block? It's 20. Niggas ain't making money on the block no more. Niggas ain't making money from trapping. Don't let these niggas pretend. Them niggas making money from prescription drugs. Niggas ain't making no money from no narcotics that we sold when we was y'all age. Them niggas is not eating like that unless they selling weight. You know what I'm talking about? So go back and do what? Chase hoes in the club? Nigga, we almost 40. You know how lame that is to be the oldest nigga in the club?
You gonna be clean though.
I wouldn't care what I was gonna be clean though. Nigga, you 40 years old unless you go into a club where everybody like the niggas my age now they all go to Jim's place. You know what I'm talking about? But then we had to sit back and look at why are we still clubbing 20 years later. But I know most niggas going to drink. That's what they really going for. Drink and socialize. I already know that, just being, you know what I'm saying? I know taking it to the street, but in reality, niggas going to drink and socialize because you know who you gonna go see. It's just to unwind. You know what I'm saying? It's a little different than when you went out in your 20s. You know what I'm saying? It's a little different. But at the same token, some of them still go to the clubs where the young people at. Nigga, I'm not going to Myth, nigga. No disrespect to my homeboy make money off of that. And I ain't knocking what he doing. But it's niggas that's going to be 10, 15, 17 years younger than us in there at the same time. You know what I'm saying? It's a club downtown. It's on Bay Street. That's where my homeboy had to go at after they closed Pure. That's where he had to go. He was promoting that Pure and Myth. You know what I'm saying? Then they closed Pure down, so he just at Myth. Like right now, they doing the thing at the bowling alley every Friday night. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at them boy. Them boy got to eat. You got to do what you got to do. I definitely ain't mad at that. But I'm just sitting back looking at, if you 40 years old, you ain't trying to party with no 22-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you got going on with that? Niggas gonna be feeling like, how many of y'all seen that video with Nelly in it? Because you know they been going hard on Nelly. It was weird. It was weird.
What?
Him stroking a little girl hair and singing to it. It was kind of weird. Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. Because he's on tour with Florida Georgia. Because he's about who go to a Nelly concert. Nelly's not on tour. Nelly is the opening act for a country act. Nigga like, well, why would Nelly go on a country act? Because them country white folks clearly want to see Nelly and he gonna catch them checks, nigga. You know what I'm talking about?
I mean, he had a little country record with two girls.
And that he did. But people be surprised, like, they don't think, these niggas be touring all the time and you'll be surprised who they tour with. You'll be surprised who listen to people's music. Country Grammar didn't go platinum because you niggas bought it. Them white folks love that nigga's music. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at them, shoot, nigga. If they want to send you out there and give you 10, 20, 30, 40 grand a show, nigga, go get your bread. But that nigga was looking weird on that stage, though. Nigga definitely was looking weird. But the thing was, though, they had to drop that rape charge, and you ain't hear nobody say nothing about it. They dropped that rape charge that man had. The woman talking about, yeah, they got charged with a rape charge. That's why that video came out. It was ironic that this video comes out after he get charged with raping somebody. Now the woman saying, oh, she dropping the charges because she feel like ain't nobody gonna believe her. You know what I'm saying? Say he raped her on the tour bus, but they said there was no physical evidence of no rape. You got raped, I know that, and you reported it immediately. I know they had a rape kit. I know they could be able to prove if this man actually touched you. How did you get on the tour?
He was giving me a tour.
Look here, right now. Just because you're on the tour bus, that don't mean he can't rape you. So I ain't gonna say that. Just because you're on the tour bus, don't mean nigga won't take no butt.
I do understand that, but you had to get on there. You had to already know what it was.
Yeah,
You gotta
bro.
jump through.
Why are you hopping on a tour bus? AKA this man house.
3 in the morning.
I mean, regardless of when, but see, I'm gonna tell y'all something how the statement is though, right? Those statements right there is why some people who actually get raped don't say nothing.
Yeah, cause you halfway done.
I mean, it ain't halfway done. Guess what though? I ain't gonna say halfway done, cause every last one of you niggas done tried to coax somebody around your way at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Some of you women in here done went to somebody's house at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and you might have got there and you might have had buyer's remorse and say, you know what? I don't want to do this. I'm finna dip.
I get that.
And then a nigga takes something. That don't make it right because you went over there with the intentions of fornicating and then you changed your mind.
No.
It ain't no same time. Ain't no same time. I wouldn't care if you went all the way, because you know you feel differently if it was your daughter who got raped or if it was your homegirl who got raped. Because I know people who've been raped. You know what I'm saying? That junk ain't cool. I don't care if you got all the way naked and then you say, you know what? No, I ain't doing that. Put that woman out your house, boy. That one junk ain't worth them 10, 20 years you gonna catch. It ain't worked them 10, 20 years ago. Put that woman, get on. Hey, well, I don't play them type of stuff. Well, I remember with a chick one time, she talked about how she started having flashbacks. When she got raped, I said, baby, you going on home. You go home. You know what I'm talking about?
But I'm saying at the same time, I'm just looking at, now you right, that like, okay, you might get there and you might, have a change of mind.
Yeah, but you get there, you think you about to be wifey. Goodbye. Nigga, you not even there.
But now it ain't even on that though. That don't get. But that don't give a nigga no room or right to rape you. I don't care what you got there thinking. I don't care what you got there to do. That don't give a nigga the right to rape nobody. I don't care what time of day it was. But there's no blood.
That's what I was gonna say. And people who got, a little bit of face, that's an easy excuse for a woman to try to do that.
And guess you know what I'm talking about? You know the next thing that nigga scream, oh, he famous. Why he got people who rape people are not raping you because they can't get sex. They raping for the thrill, the power, and control they get from the act. It ain't about the sex. You know what I'm talking about? It ain't about that. You know what I'm talking about? Regardless of what, though, I'm telling you though, because I see this is why women who get raped don't say nothing. Because the nigga look like, why you went round there? Nigga, I can go wherever I want to go. We supposed to teach this nigga control yourself. Control yourself. You know what I'm saying? The slut walk different. She's an open whore.
I don't even know what that is.
That's Amber Rose having a parade for women to be whores.
If you go over there at 3 in the morning and you don't give them no butt,
that don't get a nigga right to take it.
That don't
get you right, but that's you increasing the risk. Like,
I mean, but it's people who get raped in the middle of the day. I'm talking about going on dates. Cause a nigga feel like, or a nigga having a dinner date, nigga say come to my house, it's 8 o'clock at night, you feeling at 9:30, she gotta give me some butt, she don't wanna give you no butt, you wanna take it.
But man, them girls be giving up pity butt and then trying to act like it was rape.
But see again, that's the whole point though. The reason, but guess what though? We know that happened. Guess what? We know that happened. At the end of the day, all these statements is when people who actually get raped, that's why they don't say nothing. Cause they know you ain't gonna believe them. That's why they don't say nothing.
I mean,
and the reason niggas feel like, cause I know people who been raped, boy, that ain't no joke. That junk mess with them for life.
Nah, yeah, I ain't gonna tell nobody. I'm with you.
You know what I'm saying? And I just know that cause I know people who been raped.
A lot of them feel guilty about their part they played in.
You know, a lot of this.
It's because of statements like, why were you there? What did you have on? All these kind of questions make a person feel like,
what's the point?
What did I do?
You didn't do anything.
When you didn't do anything, it's
that nigga did it. That nigga did it.
I mean, at the end of the day, you still don't know what really happened. Like, I agree with what you're saying, but I still need to hear the full story. Don't feel bad because I'm asking you questions. Nigga, you got raped.
You know what I'm saying? But see,
really happened,
no, but see, that's the whole key.
Not like, oh, he raped me. Okay, lock him up.
But that's the whole.
Let the nigga know what happened.
I mean, that you talk about you. A nigga's not finna. A regular person is not finna have that conversation with you.
Why not? For any other?
I mean, because you talking about why would I have that conversation with you? Because it's different.
I'm not talking about with me.
I mean, the police is gonna have that conversation with you, and they gonna tell it. But what I'm telling you is most women don't even come forward and acknowledge or admit because niggas don't believe them. The same way when little kids get molested, people don't want to believe that, so they don't tell it. And we always look at the person who gets assaulted as if they did something wrong. The nigga who assaulted you is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Would I tell a woman to walk outside half naked? No, you're definitely increasing the chances that a pervert might do something to you. But nevertheless though, it's that nigga fault though. That's that nigga fault. That's that nigga fault. That's that nigga fault. No, I ain't gonna tell you that. You ain't got the right to do that there now, cause y'all say be decent and modest. You ain't got the right to walk around looking like no slut. You walk like a slut, you put on a slut's uniform, you're usually gonna get treated like one. You know what I'm talking about?
And if you slide over
but see, but at the same, but guess what though? It's a lot of people who ain't. But listen though, it's a lot of people that don't slide nowhere in no slut costume. It's a nigga. Most dudes feel like you come over here, we having sex. When she don't want to have sex, this nigga feel like I can take it because you knew what you was coming over here for, and that ain't the proper way to look at it. Oh, you don't want to have sex? Get out my house. Because you know what's gonna happen? You know what ends up happening? When a nigga feel like that, he catch them 10 years, and then he gonna be in a cell talking about no, Hector, no, and it's too late.
Yeah. Even if she came over there with an overnight bag and all.
She don't want to have sex. You can't sleep over here tonight. You got to go home.
Yeah.
Cause I ain't taking nothing.
Especially if you feeling like that.
No.
You feeling like
No, you gotta go home.
guaranteed but she came over there with a bag and she ain't never really trying to laugh and watch movies.
You got to go home.
You might well send her home.
You going home. Cause last thing I'm finna get, boy, I ain't catching no rape charge, boy. That's something you don't want on your resume.
If you know you dirty like that.
I don't want that on my resume. It's only one or two things
That's
you
a
can do.
problem though, bro. That's a mental problem too though.
There's only one or two things you can do in that situation. Tell her to go home or beat your meat. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about sit right there in front of her. She either gonna get ready or get home. That's what she gonna do. You know what I'm talking about?
She either gonna get with it or get it.
It ain't rape if I'm sitting there beating my own meat. It's my house. Indecent exposure is not sexual assault.
You gonna be sex offender. You gonna be sex offender.
That's a sexual harassment.
Sexual harassment is not even a crime. Sexual harassment is not even a crime.
What you say? You can't pull your meat out, Star.
I can pull my meat out of my house anytime I get ready. You in my house. I can't indecent expose in my house. No, she can get out. She can't tell you to put it up. That's outside. Indecent exposure is me getting butt naked and walking around this room. That's indecent exposure.
But that ain't no different than a chick being at your house and you get butt naked and get in the shower on her.
That's not indecent exposure.
You're in the shower.
That's not indecent exposure.
You got butt naked.
Indecent exposure is exposing yourself in public.
No. You got to walk into a different room in the shower.
I ain't say that.
You understand that? But indecent exposure is exposing your genitalia in public.
I got butt booty.
That's indecent exposure.
You're trying to listen to this, man. You over there yelling. You said,
I'm just saying it's the same thing.
It's not the same
You said
thing.
that's a decent exposure. If we both sitting on the couch in the living room and I get butt naked,
That's not indecent exposure.
where you go? Put on your clothes. If he doesn't say you can leave.
That's not sexual battery.
but that's not a sexual.
That's not a sexual crime.
You can get charged for something like that.
No, you cannot. That's not sexual. Sexual battery.
Her house, but versus her house.
That's different.
Yeah.
That's different. This is my
I don't
house.
see no charge.
Listen, Winston, listen to me. That is not sexual battery. Sexual battery, you must literally put your hands or attempt to sexually assault a
You
person.
can't whip the penis out in front of somebody and start wiping it, bro.
I can whip my penis out of my house when I get ready.
You're going to get put on the list.
You can't, that's not even, that you're not going to get put on the list because that's not lewd and lascivious behavior. I'm in my house.
What they do in jail when they be gunning the officers, they be in trial for that.
They get charged for that.
Yeah, and they do.
You know,
They not home.
They're not home.
Oh, you said y'all home.
You're not home. You're
Oh,
home.
I thought you said you out in public home.
That's no different. If I'm in the back room, beat my meat, and you walk in there, I'm in a decent. No, it's not. It's the same
You
thing.
said you gonna whip it out right in front of
I can do that. It's still the same thing. 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 The law doesn't look at it like in black and white, in gray area. Oh, you in your room, you in the living room. It doesn't look at it that way. It's the same thing. Yeah, you can. Because number one, I'll tell you number one, how we know this here, because you claim sexual harassment, which that's a civil crime. And that's a civil crime. There's no such charge as sexual harassment. That's only if you're in a workplace and somebody's touching you or coercing you and you can sue them. Indecent exposure is literally exposing yourself in public. You cannot get charged. Lewd and lascivious behavior is masturbating in public, or how some niggas like to peek in niggas' windows and beat their meat. That is lewd. And also lewd and lascivious behavior is touching someone at a particular age. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Now, sexual battery is actual rape. No, I'm talking about all that there's
He's
sexual.
breaking down the sexual
Because
charges.
I've been locked up with niggas for this stuff.
Harassment is not one of them.
Sexual harassment, what I'm saying is, sexual harassment, like I said, is not a charge. That is not a criminal offense. Sexual harassment is not a criminal offense. You can only be sued for that.
Yeah, that's why he said. I think
All right,
like
so
he's
yes
saying,
and no.
all he's saying is that's a civil crime.
So-
bro.
so I can make
if you
sure I
pull
understand.
out. From
No, if you pull out in your house, the only way you can be charged with that is if you try to do something to that woman while you were doing it.
Yeah, if you
You know
try
what
to
I'm saying?
physically touch her and get off.
She just needs to warm
So I can look at her eyes.
In your house, yes, you can.
That's sexual harassment.
No, again, sexual harassment is not a crime. There's no such thing.
Sexual harassment at your house. It ain't right.
I ain't saying. I'm just
It ain't
saying.
right. But if I'm home. She can leave.
Because I'm not forcing you to stay here. Just like you can be charged with.
Why you gotta whip your meat out?
Well, I just feel like it's here. You don't want it because I feel like you. I feel like you. I feel like you.
You can't do that.
In your home, yeah, you can. All I'm telling you is, hey, just go ahead and pull them Florida State statutes up and you'll be surprised.
I want you on that,
I didn't say it was right. I'm just sitting here telling you.
You need to say that what you been married.
I'm telling you, because if you come, guess what? You can rape your wife.
Right, that's what I'm saying, bro.
Because if your wife say
If
no,
you do that to your wife, what's the difference with doing that to somebody else?
and your wife say no,
saying that don't make no sense. It don't matter.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because see again, the law doesn't make distinction on wife or doesn't make a distinction on
He
it.
said she can leave. She cannot leave. This is her fault.
No, she can leave. You can leave. Nobody's forcing you to stay here.
Why was you being truthful?
Shoot, you can get out. You can sit here and watch, or you can go. Either way, I'm gonna get off.
Yeah, no one says you.
All you had to do was say, get out. I'm about to be on me.
No, I ain't finna get on nothing. Cause when I asked you to go ahead and spread eagle, you said no. So I'm gonna just go ahead and I'm better than this, but I'm finna do it tonight.
That's terrible.
I'm gonna do it tonight. We feel just like Julie. She don't want to do it. Them pull my beat out. Guess what though? I ain't got to worry about no rape charge because she either gonna leave or she gonna be like, I won't talk to you no more.
I'll tell y'all. Tell me how it works out.
You gonna tell me? I ain't gonna.
I think they're gonna charge him something.
They can't charge you with anything.
I don't want to tell you.
I mean, but you ain't gonna get charged with nothing. You're not gonna get charged with nothing.
You're gonna get charged.
You know what I'm talking about? Because there is no charge for you molesting yourself.
It ain't, bro. Because you can look at it both ways. If a woman did that,
If she was sitting there playing with herself,
it'd be the same way.
what they gonna charge you with?
I don't even see no charge yet.
What they gonna charge you with?
Police gonna
Man, the
laugh at
state
you.
attorney is not gonna charge you with nothing.
Walks around and slap a girl on the butt. He gonna go to.
That's different.
Now, the woman do the same thing. They ain't nobody.
Yes, he can. If that man say I have been sexually assaulted and I don't like it, he can call the police and she can go to jail for it. Niggas just don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Men get raped, they just don't say it because a nigga gonna laugh at them and say, how you get raped? You know what I'm saying? It happens. But my point of all this here, the same way you said this here, is people shame people in certain areas. That's why they don't report the crimes. Because if a nigga get raped, if a nigga genuinely and literally got raped, a nigga gonna be like, what did he just say? How you get raped by a woman? This nigga feel violated, but niggas gonna clown him, so he ain't gonna say nothing.
You right, bro.
You know what I'm talking about? Or if a woman genuinely get raped and she was like, well, what you had on? Why you went over there? She's not gonna say anything. Because the niggas is automatically saying you're wrong and not putting it. And guess what we saying? The same. But check it though. In the same analogy, that's how we feel about white people when we tell them what they doing to us and they say stop being a victim.
He right though. He right, bro. I've been convinced, bro.
Cause that's how they do us.
That's on me now. You cannot put your penis out anywhere. It's not working.
You can in your house.
I didn't say anywhere.
I don't care where you at.
Come on. Where we at?
You're going somewhere.
Second Samuel.
2 Samuel 3, man.
You're getting this.
All right, we at verse 30. It says, so Joab and Abishai his brother slew Abner because he had slain their brother Azael at Gibeon in the battle.
That's good. Now let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 20 and verse 4. Make it 1. I say this here, man, because we're dealing with this in America right now with that anthem and stuff. Never blame the victim. Always blame the perpetrator. It's never the victim's fault. It's always the perpetrator's fault. I've seen children who've been molested and people blame the child.
It said, and there happened to be a man of Belial whose name was Sheba, the son of Berkai, a Benjamite. And he blew a trumpet and said, we have no part in David, neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse.
Yep.
Every man to his tent, O Yasharal. So every man of Yasharal went up from David and followed after Sheba, the son of Bichri. But the men of Yehuda clave to their king from the Jordan, even to Jerusalem. And David came to his house at Jerusalem, and the king took the 10 women of his concubine, whom he had left to keep the house, and put them in a ward, and fed them, but went not unto them. So they were shut up until the day of their death, living in widowhood.
Go ahead.
It says, then said the king to Amasa, assemble me the 10 men of Yehuda within 3 days, and be thou there present.
Hold on, he said assemble what?
It said, assemble me the men of Yehuda.
Hold on, no. He said a number. You just read it.
Assemble me the men of Yehuda.
You just said a number.
Within 3 days, and thou here.
Well, it sounds like you said assemble me 10 men.
The 10 concubines.
Oh, yeah, said.
I read.
Yeah, you jammed your words together though, because you definitely said assemble me 10 men in 3 days. Okay. Go ahead.
It says, so Amasa went to assemble the men of Yehuda, but he tarried longer than the set time which he had appointed. And David said to Abishai, now shall Sheba the son of Bichri do us more harm than did Absalom. Take thou thy master's servants and pursue after him, lest he get him fenced cities and escape us.
Go ahead.
And there went after him Joab's men and the Cherethites. After him Joab's men.
So here go Joab again, and what he finna do?
And the Cherethites and the Pelethites and all the mighty men, and they went out of Jerusalem to pursue after Sheba son of Bichri. And when they were at a great stone which is at Gibeon, Amasa went before them, and Joab's garment that he had was put on was girded unto him, and upon it girded with the sword fastened upon his loins, and with the sheath thereof he went forth, and it fell out. And Joab said unto Amasa, art thou in health, my brother? Joab took Amasa by the beard, and with the right hand to kiss him.
Straight laying in wait.
It said, and Amasa took no heed to the sword that was in Joab's hand, so he smote therewith in the 5th rib, and he shed out of his bowels to the ground, and struck him not again, he died. So Joab and Abishai his brother pursued after Sheba the son of Bichri.
And his brother was right there to murk another nigga. Joab go hard in. Joab was a killer.
And then I go back, he said he cursed it. He said his father's house. That's
Yeah.
why he ain't cursed Joab.
The whole household.
All his brothers.
Everybody.
Yeah, they were wild.
Your whole lifeline. And what did the people say? Let the curse be on our who? Let it be on our whole household, not just me. I need to catch all you sinners. I need to catch every last one of y'all. Now let's look at 1 Kings 2:1, and let's see what David tell him what to do to Joab. Because they murderers. Because this was not warfare killing. You killed these men out of malice. You had hate in your heart toward these men. These men were righteous. And you're going to hear what David said. You killed men more righteous than you.
That's true.
These men were not transgressors. So for David to make this statement, we can conclude that Joab was wicked in these instances. And you can't reverse the pronouncement of a curse. Guess what? David's voice was heard on high. So y'all going to grant that request. Which is why we see what happens to Joab. Go ahead, sir. 1 Kings 2:1.
It says, now the days of David drew nigh that he should die, and he charged Solomon his son, saying, go out the way of all the earth and be strong therefore, and show thyself a man.
Show yourself a what?
A man.
Yes, sir.
And keep the charge of Yahuwah the Elohim, to walk in his ways and keep his statutes and his commandments.
If you ain't keeping the charge of Elohim to keep his word, you not showing yourself to be no man, period, at all, in no shape, form, or fashion. Go ahead.
And his judgment and testimonies that it is written in the law of Moses.
Oh, see, that's one of the instances why the book says it's better for a poor man than somebody who's not righteous and have a lot. Because you can have all these material things in the world, and if you're not keeping the word of Elohim, he does not consider you to be a man at all. You know what I'm saying? You're only a man in his eyesight when you walking in his statutes and his judgments and keeping his charge. That's one of the things where we have to look at the word of Elohim and let the word of Elohim define what a man is and not society. And clearly you also know, and both sexes do it, and this is one of the reasons why the book say the older women ought to teach the younger women how to behave, is because a man wants to tell a woman how it is to be a woman, and a woman want to tell a man what it is to be a man, and you can't do that. Let's let the word of Yahuwah tell you what it is to be a man and what it is to be a woman. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of that time you speaking from your own personal vantage point and perspective of what you feel like a man should be and what you feel like a woman should be. There's no way in the world a woman can tell a man this is what it means to be a real man. How do you have the experience to know? You are a woman. It's the same way that it's not a man's place to tell a woman this is what it is to be a real woman. The only way a man or a woman could be able to do that is if they actually seen a living example of somebody who served Yahuwah. Then they can tell you this because I saw it. I seen a man of Elohim. I seen a woman of Elohim, and this is how they behaved. And they behaved based off of what was written. Go ahead, sir.
He says, keep his judgment and his testimonies as it is written in the law of Moses, that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest, and whithersoever thou turn thyself. That Yahuwah may continue his word which he spake concerning me, saying, if thy children take heed to their way to walk before me in truth with all their heart and with all their soul, there shall not fail.
Let's see this hit my mind. Pause. According to the text, who knows some of the things that this book defines what it is to be a man? Huh? No, that don't tell everybody. Every man's not a man of valor, because that's just a man who's strong in warfare. Every man's not a warrior.
I know it says if you ain't taking care of your household.
So one of the first things the book defined as being a man is in Genesis chapter 3 when he tell you got to work by the sweat of your brow to take care of your wife. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's one of the first things the book, because he said if a man don't work, then he don't eat. So that's one of the first things that the book defines of being a man is. What are other things that the book defines of being a man is? Well, another thing the book defines of being a man is being honest. You can't be a liar and say you're a man of Elohim. Another thing the book defines a man of Elohim is having self-control. Because if you don't have self-control, you can't consider yourself to be a man of Elohim. You would be virtuous, meaning strong. You would also be pure. You would know how to conduct yourself. You would also be a servant. You would serve your brethren. You would serve your wife. You would serve your kids. These are all the things that the book defines it as. Because the book said Mashiach laid his life down for his wife. So if you go back and look at the actions of what he did, he served his wife. This is what the book defines being a man is. And these are things that niggas will gladly overlook. Okay, I showed in that video. Some of y'all might have seen the video I dropped in that thing. Them niggas weren't behaving themselves like men. Them niggas wanted to have an argument. Was they right to a certain extent in some areas? Yeah. But to say, look at them niggas, they running. Get that bull crap off the block. This how you coming at a nigga about a virgin birth. Men don't conduct themselves like, you know another way the book say a man conduct himself? If you bring the testimony of Elohim and they don't want to hear it, to leave them alone. Not to force them to listen to it. But Hebrews love to do that, don't they? They're going to make you hear they point out and it's forfeit the word. I'm going to make you believe that Joseph is not the daddy. If they don't want to believe Joseph, if they want to believe Joseph is the father of Yahushua, then let them. Nothing you going to say going to change their mind.
So what they were trying to prove that
IUIC don't believe in the virgin birth, and them boys do. Like, that's why he threw a shout out for his video, because he good for that. I got a video, virgin birth, virgin earth. You know what I'm saying? That nigga will plug a video he done made in a heartbeat. But that's what they were arguing about. Was Mashiach born of a virgin or not? It's 2017, you still having that argument? We don't need that argument. We don't need that conversation. Children. Come on. Keep on going to 1 Kings chapter 2.
it says, and Yahuwah may continue his word which he spoke concerning me, saying, if thy children take heed to their way to walk before me in truth with all their heart and with all their soul, there shall not fail thee, said he, a man on the throne of Yasharal. Moreover, thou knowest also that Joab the son of Uriah.
Hold on, you know us what?
That Joab the son of Uriah did to me.
What did he do?
And what he did to the two captains of the host of Yasharal.
What did he do?
Unto Abner the son of Ner, and to Amasa the son of Yether. He slew whom he slew in blood. He shed of war and peace, and put the blood of war upon us.
Hold on, he said. Hold on, listen to what he said, because he's telling you what his sin is. Listen to what he did.
He shed blood of war and peace.
He said the blood of war and peace. So that means he slid his blood in anger. See, pause. Ephesians 4:29. Did they not? When you sit back and you look at when they killed the Mashiach, was it a time of war or was it a time of peace? It was a time of peace. So they said the blood of war in a time of peace. Therefore, that blood has to be returned upon their head. Same way that if you sin it, Hamashiach is your shalom. It's a time of peace. It's not a time of war. If you sin it, you shed innocent blood in the time of war, in the time of blood in the time of peace, in a war mind frame, and he got to pay you for that. He got to pay you for that. That ain't just. Come on, Ephesians 4:29.
It says, let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth.
Go back to the 27. You know what we came here for.
It said, be angry and sin not.
There we go. See, they were angry, but what did they turn around and do? They sinned because they were angry with Amasa. They was angry with Abner. They allowed their anger to cause them to sin. Start the verse again and finish it out.
It said, be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath.
See, they were angry. That anger say the book say anger rests in the bosom of fools, and anger will get you in trouble every single solitary time. Because when you make decisions in anger, you're not going to make decisions rationally and justly, and you're going to make the wrong decision. Even with the conversation that we was having before, the whole conversation is based off wrong decisions. You know what I'm saying? Your number one wrong decision is to have sex and you're not married. Your number one wrong decision is to go to somebody's home at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Your number one wrong decision is to be enamored with somebody's celebrity that you'll go get on a tour bus because you being a groupie. You know what I'm talking about? On the flip side, their wrong decision is I'm a man and I want what I want and I can do what I want, and who gonna stop me? Because you're not possessing your vessel in sanctification and honor. You don't have self-control over your desires. So therefore, these is what get people into these situations. Because as he mentioned before, because ain't nobody holding fast to the word. And this is how you get put in situations to where you carry a burden that you got to carry with you for the rest of your life. And he's got to carry a burden that he got to carry with him for the rest of his life because of allowing your desires to dictate and rule your decision making. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to be honest with you, and every last one of us know, all of us at some point in our lifetime have put ourselves in situations where you could have lost your life or great physical harm could have been brought to you, and it didn't happen. Do you know what I'm saying? Some of you women have been in a position with a man where he could have raped you, and it didn't happen for whatever reason. I know I done been in situations where a nigga could have robbed and killed us, and it didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Because I can remember being with my homeboy on Silver Street at the trap, and he looked and paused and said, boy, get in the car, let's go. Because it was a nigga running through the cut with a yam in his hand looking to rob somebody. And he just happened to see him. You know what I'm saying? And he like, boy, let's get up out of here. Just like that. You don't even know. Y'all could have let it go another way, boy, and we could have been left stank right there on the sidewalk or right there in that spot. Because you don't be knowing what people got on their mind, and that stuff happens for us investing quality time in people and places that we don't even need to be at. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where it come in at. You know how many people, okay, I like to say, right, my homeboy called a life sentence. Nigga went to go buy some weed. Nigga tried to rob him. He shot his way out. A police officer's son was there on college leave playing video games in the trap, and he caught a bullet in the brain with this nigga trying to shoot his way up out of here. Now this man done lost his life investing the time in a place that he didn't even need to be at. You know what I'm saying? My nigga got a life sentence and he was defending himself. But he gone for the rest of his life, 21 years old, he's gone. He ain't never coming back. And why? Because of making the decision to want to sell weed, put him in a place where he ain't even need to be, which caused somebody else to lose their life.
Oh, I thought you said he went in the trap to get a sack.
No, my homeboy was coming to buy weight.
Oh, okay.
The niggas who selling the weight tried to rob him.
With a nigga in there playing video games?
They homeboy and he just playing video games. He's sitting in the spot just chilling. And he lost his life. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, because when my homeboy, indeed, because when my homeboy got sentenced, because this was a black police officer's son who died. You know what I'm saying?
This was recent?
This was about 15, 16 years ago.
No, it was more recently, and there was a black police officer that lost his son.
Yeah, that was like 2001. No, 2004, I should say. My bad. About 04, 05. Yeah, it was 04, 05, because that's when we went to prison, because we went to prison together. So this was 2004, 2005. You know what I'm saying? Well, he was locked up in 04 for it. And when the police officer came for the sentencing, he said, I don't get no joy from this, because my young son is dead, and a young black man is going to prison for the rest of his life. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what happened. And it was based off decision making and putting yourself in situations and circumstances that you didn't have to be in. You didn't have to be in that. So we have to look at that with every decision that we make. It can place you in positions that you don't have to be in. Because when we know we're dealing with sinners, they unstable. They unstable. Come on. Ephesians 4, we good in now. Yeah, we could come back to 1 Kings 2. We just came out to show that Joab was angry, and his anger caused him to sin. You can be angry, just don't sin. Ain't nothing wrong with being angry. You're gonna get angry. The master told you offenses must come, but woe unto them who they come through. Do not sit around here and walk like just because you in the word, that people in the word are not going to get on your nerves, and that y'all not going to offend each other, and that you're not going to get upset. That's not the issue. The issue is, how do you handle it after it happens? And most niggas do not handle it in a just and manly fashion. They handle it like hoes. Go ahead.
It says he shed blood of war and peace, and put blood of war upon his girdle that was about his loins, and in his shoes that were on his feet. Do therefore according to thy wisdom.
Go do therefore according to what?
Thy wisdom.
So he told Solomon, do seem what right to you.
And let not his gray head go down to the grave in Shalom.
You make sure you kill that nigga. You make sure you kill that nigga.
But show kindness unto the sons of Barzillai, the Gileadite, and let them be of those that eat of thy table.
Pause. So he said, leave him alone. Why he said leave him alone? Go ahead.
For they so came to me when I fled because of Absalom thy brother.
They showed mercy to me, so you don't mess with them.
And behold, thou hast
That's
wisdom.
good. He said, you ain't got to mess with them. He said, Joab, you kill him. John 5:25. Make it 20. 19 is good. Do you see how they said it? Because he killed the man. And Yah didn't deliver those men into his hand. Therefore, the law says Joab got to die. He didn't say when you should die. He just said you got to die. You understand what I'm saying? You got to die. So every time you sin and every time you blaspheme by sinning, you are piercing this man and you got to die. Hello, sir. Go ahead, sir. John 5:19.
It says, verily, verily, I say unto you, the hour is coming and now is when the dead shall hear the voice of the Son of Elohim, and they that hear shall live. For as the Father hath life in himself, so hath he given the Son to have life in himself. It hath given him authority to execute judgment also because he is the Son of Man.
Yeah.
Marvel not at this, for the hour is coming.
That's good. He said he gave him power to execute what? Judgment. He gave him power to execute a sentence. What you see in Exodus 21:12 is that if you smite a man that he died, the sentence is that you die. That's the sentence that must be executed. That is the sentence that must be executed. No other sentence can be executed. This is why Joab had to die. No other sentence. So when we sin, then what other sentence must be executed? You have to die. There is no way around that. There is no way around that. So then that should cause us and give us pause to consider our ways and to consider our pathways and to consider our thoughts. And that if any thought rises up against Mashiach, to cast it down and bring it into captivity, because we don't put it in our brain. See, when you do stuff that's out of pocket according to the word, you don't necessarily visualize yourself doing this here. Try to visualize yourself standing out there watching this man being to get put up on a tree and say, crucify him, kill that nigga. I never liked that nigga anyway. Because every time you sin, that is what you're doing. That is what you're doing. And we've showed this numerous different ways. Clearly, it don't resonate in people's brain. Now, come on back. Give me 2 Timothy chapter 1, man, about verse 5, so we can deal with that part. Say, if a man don't lie in wait, and Elohim deliver him in his hand, then he'll appoint him a place to flee. Because we done dealt with that city of refuge, too. Because that city of refuge is also pointing to when you sinning out of ignorance when you don't know. So therefore, y'all have mercy on you because you don't know. See, every last one of you, even when you thought you was doing something, if you really didn't know, he could have mercy upon you for slaying him. Because you didn't know what you were doing. You wasn't laying in the cut trying to kill him. That wasn't your intent. You thinking, most people get taught this right here when they find out they're broke. Keep the law to the best of your ability.
That's what he said on the video.
I know he did. No, he didn't. He did.
He said keep the law without trying.
They say keep it or die trying. That ain't saying keeping it to the best of your ability. That means keep it or die trying. That's why I had to take that back. No, that ain't what he said. Yeah. No, he said keep it to the death. You know what I'm saying? But when people tell you that, that gives you that wiggle room. Because you don't really understand the significance of what you're doing because you feel like you'll be forgiven for it. You know what I'm saying? Then at the same token, you don't really know Yahushua, so you really don't know what you're doing. You really ain't did nothing but just swapped out service days. Instead of going the first day of the week, you're going on the 7th, but you still got the first day of the week mind frame. So he ain't gonna hold you accountable for that. You don't, meaning that you sinning willfully is what I mean when I say hold you accountable for that. Go ahead.
1 Timothy.
2 Timothy. Pick me up about 1 and 5.
I thought you said chapter 5. My bad. It says, when I call to remembrance the unfeigned faith that is in thee, which dwelt first in the grandmother Lois and thy mother Eunice, I am persuaded in thee also. Wherefore I put thee in remembrance that thou stirred up the gift of Elohim, which is in thee by the putting on of my hands. For Elohim has not given us the ruach of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. And be not therefore ashamed of the testimony of our master.
It's first Timothy 1, not 2 Timothy 1. 1 Timothy 1, pick me up about verse 10. I always get them swapped out though, the one. Because let's be honest with you. Whether you was in, and when you was in the church, how many, those of y'all who went to church, how many of y'all really knew what you were doing? As forth as the magnitude of your disobedience. We got one person, she said she knew what she was doing. D just raised her hand. How many of y'all, when you found out you was a Hebrew, you really understood the magnitude of what you were doing? I'm talking about as forth as being disobedient. Like understanding the consequence. So when we look at understanding the consequence and we know what we doing and then we choose to do opposite of that, there's something wrong with us. You know what I'm saying? We definitely not showing no level of wisdom. So now you had a problem. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Verse 5?
2 Timothy 1 and 1 Timothy 1 and 10.
Okay. It say, for whoremongers and them that defile themselves with mankind, for men stealers and for liars, and for perjured persons, and if there be any other thing that is contrary to sound doctrine, according to the esteemed Besor and of the Baruch Elohim which thou hast committed to my trust.
Yep.
I thank Yahushua Mashiach our master, who has enabled me, for he hath counted me faithful, putting me into the ministry.
Go ahead.
Who was before
injurious,
a blasphemer,
a
persecutor, and injurious, but I obtained mercy because I did it ignorantly in unbelief.
So you didn't know, he didn't know what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? So when he say he was a blasphemer, because he would blaspheme against Mashiach, he would, what did the master say? Why did you kick against the pricks? Why are you persecuting me? When they persecuted the master, what did they do to him? You notice the key point of what I'm saying. If you smite a man or you blaspheme, you killing him, because he said, was he actually persecuting Yahushua himself? Yeah, was he actually? But he was, though, because he was persecuting the members of his body, which means if you did it to them, you did it to him. You know what I'm saying? That's why he said, why are you persecuting me? You sin against him, it's no different. Him persecuting the body and him blaspheming was no different than him grabbing Yahushua and nailing him on the tree himself. So every time we do that, that's what we're doing. You're nailing him up there yourself. But he gave you a place to go because you did it out of ignorance and unbelief. Come on back, 21 and 14. 21 and 14. Exodus 21 and 14. Exodus 21 and 14. And verse 14 is continuing on to what we're dealing with too. I know I mentioned Matthew 26 and 1 about the lying and wait, but we ain't came back to it because John 11 satisfied that query. Exodus 21 and 14. Listen what he say.
It says, but if a man come presumptuously upon his neighbor to slay him with guile, thou shalt take him from mine altar that he may...
Pause. Anybody think, what do you think this word presumptuously would mean in Hebrew? What do you think it would mean in English first?
Premeditated.
You know, in English, presumptuously means you made an assumption. You presumed something and it wasn't correct. But in Hebrew, the word is zud, and it means to be proud. So this word, it would really say, but if a man come proudly upon his neighbor to slay him with guile, who came upon his neighbor with pride to slay him with lies? You know that was Judas. Now let's go look at it now in Matthew 26 and pick me up at verse 12. Then he said you got to take him from his altar and kill him, meaning he can't approach unto the altar. So now we see another reason why Judas had to kill himself when he killed himself, because he can't come to the altar. We need to get that nigga a sled. Get him a football sled and let him push it. Not to play football, just to let him push it. Because he might not want to play sports. He might want to be a mathematician.
My son ain't gonna be no mathematician.
Shoot, he might like numbers. Might like to count. How you gonna play? He play football, he going to hell.
Go to hell. 26 and 12.
Yeah, not when he get to high school and college, he won't. So ain't even no sense of even putting somebody to start a pipe dream that you're gonna have to stop. Yeah, I know it. And then now you done cause where you gonna stir in his brain where he might choose football over y'all because you set that up for him to go in that direction.
That one in my house, he ain't. And that's middle school and high school.
I'm just saying, if you want your child to go in the way of y'all, then you got to be careful on the things you put in front of their face where they might start to enjoy something, and now they might choose that over y'all. Yeah, but you don't want to contribute to it. I mean, you're gonna. I mean, that's being extreme. Because you don't have to play football. You have to work. You don't have to play football. You don't have to play basketball. You don't have to do any of those things. Those are leisure activities. I mean, you don't have to do that. You have to work. We just mentioned that in the law. You got to work. You don't have to play sports.
I ain't got to do nothing to be black and die.
I used to say it all the time too. Nigga talking about you got to do this. I ain't got to do nothing but be black and die, nigga.
That's it.
Nigga get mad when you tell him that.
Go to work.
Go to work. Or hit him with this one here. What's your name? Putin Tane, nigga. Ask me again, I'll tell you the same.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, you know about that one. I know D know about that one.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Matthew 26 and 12.
Matthew 26 and 12.
For in that she poured his ointment on his body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you that wherever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this that a woman have done be told for memorial of her.
Go ahead.
Then one of the 12 called Judas Iscariot. He went up to the chief priests and said unto them, what will you give me, and I will deliver him unto you? And they covenanted with him for 30 pieces of silver, and from that time he saw opportunity to betray him.
Saw opportunity. He laying in wait.
Laying in wait.
And then we know, guess what? We know the guy that he came to slay him with, because he did the same thing that Joab did to Amasa. What did Joab do to Amasa? He walked up to him and kissed him on his cheek, and it says, all well with your brother? That's what he did. He walked up to Amashak and said, what? Hell, master.
You know what I think about?
And gave him a kiss.
I think about boys in the hood. Hey, homie, you need some help?
That's Minister Society, sir.
Yeah, my bad. Appreciate it. I got one.
Definitely two different films.
Yeah, you're right.
Because he definitely, but he wasn't even laying there, because he came up to murk that nigga. They came to ride. Left car stain right in the parking lot. Shows you not to mess with people. What I was finna go to after that? Matthew 27 and 3. Let's see how they pulled this man away from the altar.
Matthew 27
and 3.
It said Yehuda and Judas, which had betrayed him, when he saw that he was condemned, repented himself and brought again the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and elders, saying, I have sinned and that I have betrayed the innocent blood.
You see what he did? You see how he came proudly upon his neighbor and slew him with guile? He said, but you got to take him from my altar. He got to die. Go ahead.
Saying, I have sinned that I have betrayed the innocent blood. And they said, what is it that to us?
They ain't got nothing to do with us.
See thou to that.
You see to that yourself.
It said, and he cast down the piece of silver in the temple, and he departed. And he wouldn't hang himself.
Got to get you away from my altar. You got to die. But you see how he's fulfilling the law with this? They got to die. You got to die. Guess what? All them chief priests and scribes, that's why they pronounced that blood on themselves, and they got to die like Joab died. Because you came presumptuously, and you came with guile. Because you came with false witnesses, and you came with liars to kill somebody out of your pride. See, people don't even sit back and show that you got the spirit of the scribes and the Pharisees at that particular time because of the pride that's in. That's why he said they haters of those who do good. That's why Paul made that statement. Because when you look in the history of Yasharal, they always been haters of those that do good. Always. Back to Exodus 21.
We ain't sure how Joab got off.
Oh, we didn't shoot. He died. I don't care about how he died. He died. That's all we need to know, that he told him to kill him. Because, yeah, Solomon called him and got him out of here. Come on. Because we got to get more further down this chapter. Not too far, but far enough.
It said, and he that smiteth his father or his mother shall be surely put to death.
That's what, you put your hands on your mama or your daddy, you ought to die. You know how many niggas is gonna go to hell for that? For putting their hands on their mama or their daddy? Not even killing them. Because you know, smiting is not just killing. But guess what? You also smited your father and your mother when you put your hands on Yahushua, and you got to die. But just on a natural sense. Because remember, he's your father, he's your mighty father, he's your mother because he birthed you, because he even Adam at the same time. He's the mother of all living as well as being mankind. And they smited him and they had to die. But if you literally put your hands on your parents, you could die for that. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no business putting your hands on your father. You ain't got no business putting your hands on your parents. I don't care what they did. I don't care what they said out their mouth. You know what I'm saying?
So you supposed to let your parents kill you, bro?
What it said? I ain't say let. What it just said right there?
If they bring you in, they can take you out.
They can take you on out of here, because what that law just said. Look what I'm just saying. What does that law say? The law, he didn't make no contingency. Says if she do this or if they do that. He said if you smite your father and your mother, you ought to be put to death. All the other stuff of what got you to that point, he could care less. You ain't got no business doing it.
So if your mama didn't try to kill you,
that's what I just said.
So you better look at what that text say.
Let them take you out. They brought you in.
That's what you better do. That's what you better do. You better get on up out of here.
If you slide in that house and your daddy knocking your old lady down,
he already going to hell for that anyway, and she is too.
And the defense on you is the same way.
You know what I'm talking about?
I'm just saying.
But I'm just saying, like I said, I ain't added nothing to nothing. I ain't gave no commentary. I just said, what does it say?
You know, black now.
Like, because you already know, y'all ain't coming. If there's a contingency on what you can get around that for, he would say it. Ain't no contingency. That man say, if you smite your father and mother, you will be put to death. That's the end of the conversation. Clear cut and dry. He don't care what she did, because you got to sit back and look at it. Vengeance is mine, saith Yahuwah. So if you are justified, then he gonna handle them. That's if you believe in Yah, he gonna handle them. If you don't believe in Yah, then guess what you gonna do? She ain't gonna hit me, I'm gonna hit her back, and you going to hell.
Hey, but how that work? Don't go as far as with divorce, though. Like what else? Never mind.
Ain't no divorce. Better suck it out of her, just stay single. Book can tell you how to handle that. She want to leave, let her leave. You better stay single till she dead, and vice versa. You don't accidentally hit nobody. Let's hear it. It said what it said. You smite your mama or your daddy, you shall be put to death. Say what it say. Ain't no. What if I do it off reaction? Why you even got a reaction to put your hands on your parents?
Cause they just tackled you, nigga.
And
that's reaction. Anybody tackle you, gonna have a reaction. Ain't like you gonna brace yourself.
A reaction to bracing yourself and a reaction to raise your hand up to strike them is two totally different things.
I'm just saying, everybody's reaction different.
Only reaction I see is somebody scare you around the corner. Your first thing is punch.
Guess what though? No matter what y'all can try to conceive in your brain, this book say what it say. You put your hands on your mama and your daddy, and you going to hell. Bottom line. You know what I'm talking about? I can't sit here and tell you in the event this happened, because I just added to the word. It don't say that. I ain't never put my hands on my mama. I ain't never even thought about it.
If you got a whooping, they gonna say, "Oh, you try to hit me."
No, we ain't talking about what they said. We talking about what you actually did.
Yeah. I'm about to say, 'cause I don't.
No, we ain't talking about you blocking a womb. Because guess what? We gonna get to it in the law. Boy, this law say that if your child, when we was in the land, if that nigga was stubborn and didn't want to listen, we could pull that nigga out and stone that nigga. You know what I'm talking about? That's the stuff I was telling y'all about last week. All that. Well, they just a kid. Your child would have got killed. You gonna get put out. They didn't play them type of games. You're not finna be around here doing what you want to do. You can get out. But unfortunately for our people, we were so wicked and disobedient, this wasn't getting executed on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? Y'all is not with it. The disrespect, hold on. Don't give me Colossians 3:1. That man ain't with that disrespecting your parents stuff. That man's not on that. Make it 4:1. That man is not on that. What's one of the first commandments he gave in the 10? We read it Wednesday. Respect your father and your mother, so your days will be long in the land that you go to possess. So you put your hands on your parents, you a wicked bastard. I'll tell you that to your face. And they don't care who they is. You wrong. You cannot tell me that you justified in that in no shape, form, or fashion. I don't care what they did. I don't care what they did. That's your father. Not if you say you follow this book. Now if you don't follow this book, hey man, shoot, nigga, you still wrong, but hey, you a sinner. I expect it from you. Guess what? You could be 45 years old, your mama could walk up and slap you in your face, and you just gonna have to take that. If you follow this book, you're gonna have to take that.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna hit you with a mean get out. How about that?
And you ain't wrong.
You've done what you did.
I do what I do. Your daddy can walk up and punch you square in your mouth, and you're gonna have to take that. Ain't no, I'm grown, daddy, I'm gonna fight you. Not to serve y'all, you not. I ain't gonna munch. Oh, you don't do like this here. Like this here. Mama, leave me alone.
I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna take my slap, walk to the door, looking up. You got somewhere you need to be.
Somewhere you need to be.
Out of here.
Out of here. Cause I know y'all, cause I already said, I done told y'all this before. Hey, take this out. If you got a question, just ask us. You don't need to have no cross conversation.
We're not asking questions.
I'm saying, but you can just hold it to the end, cause that's the same token, cause we ain't gotta have, cause other people can't hear. But check this out though. I done told y'all this before. The law of honoring your parents don't stop when you turn 18 or you get grown or you move out their house. It don't stop. That's a lifetime judgment. That's a lifetime law. You ain't never too old. Oh, I'm grown. You can't tell me what to do. They can tell you what to do all they want. That man say respect your honor and your mother and your father. So you need to do it. If you don't do it, you're putting your soul at risk, and you can try to justify it or swing whatever you want in your head, and you can lose your soul behind it. Come on, man. Colossians 4:1.
It say, masters, give unto your servants that which is just and equal, knowing that ye also have a master in Shamayim. Continue in prayer, watching the same with thanksgiving, withal praying also for us, that Elohim will open unto us a door of utterance to speak unto the mystery of the Mashiach, for which I am also in bonds. That I may make
Give me 3 and 18. It's 3 and 18. That's what I want. Colossians 3 and 18.
Wives, submit yourself to your own husband as it is fit unto Yahuwah, and husbands, love your wives.
Because that ain't what it say. It don't say Yahuwah there.
Oh, okay. It says, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husband as it is fit in the master. Husbands, love your wives, and be not bitter against them.
Listen what it say.
Children, obey your parents in all things.
Children do what?
Obey your parents in all things.
Why?
For this is well pleasing unto you.
That mean that they ain't got nothing to do with nothing. How old you are. Your age don't got nothing to do with that. You can see all throughout this text. You seen Solomon give David reverence to the day that he died. You see what happened to Absalom. He died for not honoring his father. That man don't care nothing about you being grown. He don't care nothing about that. White people told you when you turn 18 you grown and you ain't got to listen to your parents no more. That's what America told you. That's what Western civilization told you. Yah said obey them so your days can be long in the land. It didn't tell you they can't talk to me like that. I'm grown. He don't care nothing about that. You better learn how to take it. Because they said a lot of things to a Mashiach and he took it. He said when you were reviled, revile not again. When he was threatened, he threatened not. How we gonna say we serve Yah and then don't even show forth the action and display of what your Elohim is teaching you to display? You're going off your emotions and your flesh, because ain't nobody gonna do me like that. So when it come time for these people to slap you around for the word, what you gonna do then?
So you grown, your mama say what they did to you.
You need to go.
It's Shabbat, bro.
Now, I mean, now, common sense tell you you can't go against Yah now. But if you,
Mama say, I think y'all need to pay this. And I'll say, y'all.
now see what you just said is I think. That means she made a suggestion.
Yeah, it definitely is that.
That's a suggestion.
Some parents, even when you're grown and married, it's wrong. And you live in your house.
That means you still got to give them their respect. You have to respect them regardless.
Yeah, but you said obey.
I mean, I didn't say obey. The book said obey. I didn't say to obey them. The book said to obey them. You know what I'm talking about? Now, they could give you a suggestion. I feel like you should do this or you should do that. That's your household. You can run it how you wish. But you got to obey your parents. And the man said that's pleasing to him. So you got to have wisdom to know what to listen to and how to decipher and have discernment. Now, if your mama come in here and say, I think it would be better for you to feed your kids pork, feed them pork. You know you got to do that. I feel like you should decorate your house like that. Go decorate your own house. And you can tell her that in a respectful fashion. But if your mama tell you when she come to your house, Nisha, get in there and wash them dishes. You need to get in there and wash them dishes then. And it shouldn't be no conversation on, because guess what? You want to teach your child to obey you even when you grown. When he grown. That's it. And she say, son, take that trash out. I ain't taking no trash out. I don't live here. Nigga, grab that bag. Go ahead and get it out the house. It's not that big of a deal. Because we kind of go back to, for when you sit back and we look at, we was in the land and we was in that Eastern mind frame and how they moved. They didn't just say, I'm not doing this because I don't live with you anymore. They still took care of their parents. They still did for their parents. They still listened to their parents. The difference, what you talking about is your people are sinners though. And that's the difference. And when we was in the land, majority of your elders were not going to be transgressors. They were going to be in line with what you were going to be in line with. And they weren't going to come and give you an edict and say, run your house like this. They was going to do like what Jethro did with Moses. Let me make a suggestion, son, man, where it'll be lighter for you.
Make it a little easier.
Make it a little easier for you. You ain't got to do it. But I think this will be easier for you. You know what I'm saying? But you got to obey them. You got to honor them. And you definitely can't put your hands on them. Because let that be known, I didn't write Colossians 3:20. He said, children, obey your parents in all things. This is well pleasing unto the master. I didn't say it. He said, honor your father and your mother. He did not give a time frame on how long for you to do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's him. So we have to get that stuff up out of the way. You can say, Ma, I hear what you're saying. I respectfully disagree, and I'm going to choose another course of action. That's not hard to say.
I said bring them grandbabies over here.
And
I don't want to hear all that.
You know what I'm saying? I say, well, mother, you know, we're working right now. You're going to have to come over here.
But I said bring them grandbabies over here.
Well, mama, I need gas money. You going to give me some? I ain't got none.
Yes, I will give you gas.
Well, shoot, you ain't saying nothing. I'll be there 15 minutes. You ain't saying nothing. I'll be there 15 minutes. Shoot, nigga say shoot. Nigga, we were doing bad. Now we ain't got to eat no oodles and noodles tonight. I can get us some McDonald's burger. Go ahead.
I got a question.
This nigga out here. This nigga here is not right.
I just got that cool with my father. Man.
Yeah.
He's supposed to, if he tell me to do something, I'm supposed to just do it.
I mean, give him that honor and respect. I'll give you an example. I ain't know my daddy like that. I'm in the hospital with Pop. Pop, like, you know what I'm talking about? Can you wipe the sweat off my head? Can you do this? Can you do that? And it wasn't no issue, because regardless if he was there or not, that's still my daddy.
I'm talking about, like, if you ain't been in somebody's life and you trying to tell them, trying to be a father at that time.
I don't think, now I understand what you're saying. I don't think he would go that far, but if he make a request, since you were serving the Elohim, show him the mercy and power of your Elohim by honoring that request. Because at that point, when you do that, you actually are testifying against him. See, that's the part of the game that we miss. Our behavior is an actual testimony against those who disobey. Because conventional wisdom say, if he ain't took care of me and he wasn't there, I ain't listening to this nigga.
And it's showing that you're hungry.
You know what I'm saying? And I can understand that. But like he just said, but when you can actually show the respect and hearken to his words, it shows the humility of Elohim, and he could never open his mouth and say nothing against your God. He could never open his mouth and say nothing. Because regardless if he was there for 25 years or for 15 minutes, he's still your daddy. Because the book don't make a determination if he's there or not. You know what I'm saying? You got to give him that respect. You know what I'm saying? You got to give him that respect. But conventional wisdom say, I ain't fooling with that nigga. You know what I'm saying? I ain't listening to that nigga. Because that's natural. Nigga, you ain't teach me how to ride a bike. You ain't teach me how to shoot a basketball, shoot a gun, throw no hands, wipe my butt, shake my penis when I pee. You ain't taught me nothing. Shoot, boy, I know some niggas take their sons out there and shoot them and teach them how to shoot.
What? This is sure as I know my nigga forearms strong enough to shoot.
You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I understand it. Like I say, my daddy wasn't around neither. But when we was in the house though, he'd be like, go get me this, go get me that. I'm going to get it for him. And not just because the word, because regardless of what, I'm 35 years old. That's over with. This still my daddy. I'm going to give him that respect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's hard though, but that doesn't do it to show humility.
Yeah, you got to. But don't get me wrong though, Monty. I understand completely because I've been in that situation and circumstance. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't around. So you look at, you ain't got no authority or demeanor over me to be telling me nothing. You know what I'm saying? I ain't finna listen to you, nigga. Yeah, jump over like this here, nigga. You been gone for 27 years. All of a sudden, son, need to get out there and clean that car. You like, nigga, what? Nigga, I'm finna go on to the house. This nigga here talking stupid. You know what I'm saying? But at the same token, it ain't about us. It's about y'all. And that's how we got to get our mind trained toward. It's not about you. It's about him. You are no longer representing yourself. You are representing the living Elohim, the creator of Shamahim and the rats. That's who you represent. So it's more just and it's more wise to do things to make sure that he gets the honor than to go with how you feel you should handle a situation and circumstance. You should, in every situation you encounter on, how can my God get the honor out of this situation? You know what I'm saying? Even if it causes you to do something you don't want to do. Because Hamashiach did not want to die, but he saw it was more important that Elohim was esteemed in his death than to be dishonored in the saving his own life. And that's how we got to live. That's how we got to approach every situation. Because guess here, if my mama try to slap me, I'm going to duck and run. Straight up there. I'm out of here. Come back.
Mama, stop playing.
I ain't even none of that there. I'm out of here. I ain't got no words. I'm gone. You know what I'm talking about? But it's better that way though. Because if we can't respect our father and our mother, how can we respect Elohim and he the one who told you to do this and he say he your father? He say, if I be a father, where is my fear? Where is my respect at? So even if you don't like your parents, you're not doing it for them. You doing it for Yah. That's who you doing it for. He told servants, obey your masters, not as men pleasers, but to Elohim. Everything you doing, you should be doing it for him. That's the mind frame we got to get to. Come on back to Exodus 21. It's hard now.
Not with our service.
Not with our service, but from the heart, as the pleasing Elohim and not men. That's what it say. It's hard though, because your flesh wants to resist that. But that's all a part of being saved. We say it all the time, and the way is tight, it's restrictive, but then you find out how tight and restrictive it is. Because y'all don't care nothing about our feelings, our emotions, what we feel is right. It's what he said. There's nothing we can come up with to justify disrespecting our parents. It's nothing that we can come up with to justify putting our hands on our parents. Not in his eyesight. In man's eyesight, we can come up with a lot of things to justify it. But in his eyesight, there is no justification. At all. And being grown, it should be a lot easier for you to respect your parents because you should have a lot better impulse control. You know what I'm saying? When you're younger, you ain't as mature, you ain't got a lot of impulse control. And most of y'all got kids, so the same respect you want your children to offer to you, you need to offer it to your parents so they can see you doing that. Because if not, how would you feel if your kids grew up and disrespected you, put their hands on you?
They would, because we was raised in Elohim.
Even if I wasn't raised in Elohim, they would. No, they going to the graveyard, and I'm going to the Florida Department of Corrections because somebody died tonight.
Somebody gonna die.
I was locked up with a dude who was locked up for child abuse because he beat his nephew who was living with him, who he paid for, fed, clothed, and all that. He said, I forgot what he said that nigga did. He said, I put that belt to that black bastard, and I said, as you should.
He's in prison?
He was an accountant, facing the prison time. Yeah, they locked him up for child abuse. This nigga was like 15, 16 years old who he was.
Shoot, that nigga too big. I feel like shit. That nigga almost grown.
He went and told on his uncle.
You take some life.
Mr. Glenn Morrison. I say Mr. Morrison beat that nigga. Beat him. I wish I would be having some kid talking about, I'm finna fight you, daddy. Come on with it, nigga. This the last fight you ever gonna have. Shoot, this is the last, because guess what? You better have some fire on you, because that's the only way you gonna win this bout. I guarantee you, the first time you throw your setup and you throw that blow, I'm finna beat you to the point of death.
Nah, I ain't even finna let you get a blow in.
Oh no, you a man. You feel like you a man and you want to box, my nigga. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you throw one. That don't mean you gonna land it.
I ain't letting you throw nothing. You throw them hands up, I'm throwing down. Straight up. Got to.
Come on, man. Give me verse 16. Matter of fact, let's stop right there, because 16 is something totally different. That's something totally different. We getting into another topic. We talked about that stealing a man not too long ago. So hallelujah for Yahushua. We stop right there though. Hey,